Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
47% on mid-range jumpers, fifth in the NBA. Wow, Harden, no good on a three. Oh, it is good. Whoa!
The potential most improved player in the NBA. Lost for the time being. And a no-good!
Tippett takes it away. That's a good from a pass away. He scores! Garden pass away.
30th home run hit by the Braves this season. And Dalen Lyle now lifting one to right. Back on it is Acuna. It's out of here.
You know, there have been a handful of roster moves. Caglione drives it and well deep to center. Could it be? It is his first home run of the year.
Line drive, look out, Goose. And we got a base hit.
Goose having quite right.
Arrivederci. Drilled to center, well struck, Crawford back, turning, looking, here. Dansby Swanson a bolt to center field.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mail Medical. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. What's up, DB?
How we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hey, Shane, those were pretty quick on the highlights.
Yeah, they were pretty short last night.
Quick on the draw.
That's because he doesn't like watching basketball.
To my head, and this is
The
what
basketball highlights are terrible.
Well, my name is MCA. I got a license to kill.
He doesn't like watching basketball.
Shane, you're a big Beastie Boys guy. How many albums do you have?
I have all their albums
That is
and
the least
and all their singles.
that is the least surprising thing ever.
Trash.
What?
Whoa.
I hate Beastie Boys.
Whoa.
Is that a hot take?
That's a hot take.
I've never.
That's not a hot. That's a terrible.
It's very on brand for his personality.
I've
though.
never heard a Beastie Boy song that I like.
Well,
He doesn't like any Anglo people that come across as in the lower socioeconomic class that major in urbanomics. That is not his thing.
You know what it is?
No, that's exactly what it is.
It's the like little whiny ass sound of his voice.
Whiny.
Yeah, or he's what's the
Whiny. What's whiny about the Beastie
he's
Boys?
just like
it's like here's a little story I got to tell.
yeah, it's like I don't know if it's like nasally. I'm not saying he's whining, it sounds whiny.
Shane.
I hate the tone of his
That
voice.
is
That's the worst take I've heard in a long time. And you're the king of them.
It's the sound of his voice drives me crazy.
Oh, fuck.
Also, I find the
Wow.
like the
Big
the,
Creed
like,
guy though.
dissonance guitar, like the I hate that. It sounds terrible.
You don't have to drink Brass Monkey, but you can. It's okay to like the song.
No, terrible.
Oh God. Oh, wow.
I never have understood it. It is
it's one of the
biggest.
That's a weird. That's kind of like Jacob getting at me over Zachariah Branch. That's a weird take.
No, this makes more sense because they suck and Zachariah Branch is good. So I don't know what JP's deal was yesterday. But I like a little. So I wouldn't call it surly, but I like a little combative JP. I just don't know why he picked Zachariah Branch. I think we've talked about him a few times. I don't feel like we've been overly effusive. Like I like him.
I like him a ton,
and I think he's a good football player. I think he can be useful in a lot of different ways.
I don't really want to let you off the hook with the Beastie Boys.
Oh, I don't want to be off the hook. I think they suck. I think they're terrible. And I have 23 CDs of theirs. Good Lord, that's a lot of money you wasted there, Shane.
I like when you're all in, Shane. Oh, we don't have to worry about that.
For being frugal, like that's oof.
No, but you've listened to him almost every day after the show. When he gets a little pocket change, he's gonna take care of his hobbies.
He's gonna buy either albums, movies, or Legos
or comic books. Yeah. Shane, so is the Ben still your spot, or where's your hidden gem now to get things extra cheap?
I don't go to Walgreens. Most of those have been shut down. So
yeah,
but you're talking like the DVD bins at Walmart. I don't do that.
No more bin diving.
No.
So what do? You just look online?
I just watch like Tubi and Hulu and.
Oh, you don't add them? Tubi and Hulu. You guys make fun of me for my movie. I've never seen a good movie on Tubi.
Oh yeah, no.
Tubi was what was Russian Rambo was on though.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Oh,
that seems right up their alley.
Awful judgy this morning.
This always.
I mean, Like, what happened in the sports world that's got you a little salty?
I'm actually in a really good mood. So I'm actually
Why? Because the Red Sox finally won?
No, because the Nuggets lost. But
what a debacle.
I'm going to double down on the Beastie Boys thing real quick. Not only do I not like them, I don't understand why other people like them.
Oh, God.
Like, there's a lot of movies that, like, hey, this isn't for me, but I get why you like it.
This
Like,
sounds like an old man take.
well-made.
Yeah, yelling at the clouds.
That's fine. It's a well-made movie, whatever. Same thing with different food or drinks or whatever. It's like, hey, I get what they're trying to do here. It's just not for me. I do not understand why people like Beastie Boys. It is beyond my comprehension.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Old man take.
It is.
Oh, my God. You're going to put me in a bad mood. You thought I was mean on Friday.
Me and my horsey and a quart of beer.
Hate it.
That's a terrible take.
That's a terrible song.
Really?
All of them. All of them are terrible.
Gee whiz.
I literally have never heard one Beastie Boys song that I'm even like, oh, that's okay. I've heard country songs I like more than the Beastie Boys.
I'm gonna.
That's.
I mean, what are we trying to do here? It's like listening to a toddler try and figure out one of those Fisher-Price instruments.
Oh, God.
That's what it sounds like. I don't understand it at all.
The slander.
It's awful.
Hey, by the way, did you see your boys dribble, spin back, left baby hook?
Which one?
Nikola Jokic.
I saw him go 1 for 8 against Rudy Gobert.
Oh, God, you're such a hater.
No, I'm
your other hot take. Nikola Jokic not good at basketball.
That's not what I said. I said I don't like watching him play basketball.
You're a horrible person.
I don't like watching him play basketball. How is that? Like, I understand. See, that's a really good example. I thank you for bringing that up, DB. I understand why other people like watching him play basketball. I understand that he's good at basketball. He's not for me. Aesthetically, pass.
He's not for me.
No, thank you.
That was an epic meltdown, but not like Boston. Or excuse me, not like New York.
Oh no!
And I'm gonna say something.
We need to talk to Rico for a second.
Listen, I'm down with Rico. I rock with Rico. Rico works his ass off. But listen, you can't have these super strong SGA foul merchant hot takes, hating. I don't like watching SGA play and love Jalen Brunson.
Oh, I don't love Jalen Brunson.
The flipping bully ball, dribble the air out of that thing, get fouled, hezzy shot take, receding hairline, Rogaine, tie my braids up, daddy coming off the bench like a fool every 5 seconds. That dog ain't gonna hunt either.
No argument here.
I mean,
no problem at all.
That's not enjoyable basketball.
100%. He looks.
Wait, hold on.
What was that?
Who
was that? Was that the Beastie Boys?
No, that was the crying baby.
Oh, okay.
Was Shane? Was that you or was that Suave?
That was one of the other two.
Yeah. See, well, listen. I need Sasha to make an executive decision. Not everybody can just chime in like Big Ben. I'm gonna need you to get control of things over there, okay? She's like, hey, I ain't no passenger princess, DB. I can slit throats. Get him, Sash.
I don't have any argument with that.
They're a miserable team to watch.
Brunson's not fun to watch. I don't think the Knicks are fun to watch in general. And I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a lot of like just rich man Mark Jackson to his game, where he's just like bootying people down the court. Like that's no argument here.
Nice trick off too, by the way.
What?
The New York Tricks.
Then listen, they did a really good job. This is Rico's fault, by the way. He went into my office. I've got a magnet NBA like playoff bracket thing.
Yeah.
And he moved New York past Atlanta yesterday. This is his fault.
Hey,
he skipped him.
Going Juan. I dialed 911 a long time ago. Juan, what was my ice cream take? I just said ice cream's overrated.
Yeah,
I didn't say it's. I didn't say it sucked. I just said it's overrated. I mean, for what it is.
No, that's definitely a worse take than the Beastie Boys suck.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on, Shane.
What are we doing here?
Talking about how much the Beastie Boys are trash. I don't know. I was trying to talk about Nikola Jokic. I can go back to him going 8 for 20. That was fun.
Hey, so how do I don't know. I should ask our guys because we know so many people that work in the market in Denver. But how do people feel about Jamal Murray in Denver?
That's a good question. That's a good question. As somebody that doesn't have to rely on him, I like it. He doesn't really move the needle for me. But if that's a guy that I was like, hey, I kind of need you here,
yeah,
he'd drive me crazy.
Yeah. Well, and this year's actually good. Jamal
it's
Murray.
been reasonably. It's been reasonably consistent.
At what point were you looking at the Hawk shot selection and you're like, hey, it's okay if you don't shoot that thing in 0.5 milliseconds?
I just think the Hawks,
I mean, it's just running and gunning. They don't give a what.
I just think the Hawks are kind of just hilarious in general. Just that whole team is a little funny to me, and I'm kind of here for it if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you know who's here for it?
Who?
One Micah Benning.
Is he?
Oh,
is he a big Hawks guy?
He likes anybody that's no. He likes anybody that is very, very persistent.
They're just like bang their head against the wall. They're going to break through.
And the Hawks are very persistent.
I just like the random, hey, CJ McCollum, not dead yet. Because everybody kind of wrote him off like he was washed.
Did you see him in the presser? He was kind of having last laugh. Was it sunglasses night last night and I missed the memo?
I didn't see.
I know you're not a presser.
Was it? I wouldn't surprise me if Cat was wearing sunglasses.
Talk about a guy that drives me crazy.
He's a unique individual.
We were in Atlanta. We were on vacation a long time ago, and I saw Cat playing cards.
Yeah.
And 3 years later, I'm in Vegas, and he's walking through the casino again. And this is back when Aria was kind of new. It wasn't even really like the place to be yet.
Yeah.
And it was. I have some pictures. He was he was skinny Cat.
How long has Cat been in the league?
Cat,
it's been a minute now, right?
I don't know, 13 or 14 maybe. Cat walks like
he walks like an old man,
but he's huge.
Big guys do that a lot.
So big,
15, 16 was when he was in. So we're at 10 years.
Oh yeah, like.
I was trying to figure out the timeline because I was like, you're not going to Vegas much anymore.
I got to show you the picture. And that was, I'm like, he looked like a little kid and he's just bebopping through the casino.
He sort of always acts like a little kid. Like he always sort of he would
drive me crazy. They needed to move off of him. Do you like Dyson Daniels? Breeze loves that Daniels.
I appreciate him. He's not like my favorite.
He's off the grid. I mean, you probably don't have a hot take like the Beastie Boys.
No, I mean, stylistically, I don't mind. He's not probably a go-to for me, but I appreciate what he brings to that team.
Oh yeah, A-Train. I saw it. I when Ant hit Cat Williams with the Zesty reference, and I was like, I text and tweet that, and I was like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, Alex, I may have sent that to our resident Knicks fan, Rico.
Which one?
That one. The volleyball one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
From Ant.
Yeah.
Ant's a funny dude.
He is funny. We should have him back on again.
He's a really funny. He has lots of takes.
Yeah. That's good.
He has lots of takes.
Don't kill him for takes. I don't like Beastie Boys, and it's the end of the world.
No, it's fine.
It's a weird hill for you to die on.
I'm not gonna. I've moved on. I just thought it was awful aggressive for a random band to have such a strong take. That would be like me having a really hard or like a super strong opinion on Vanessa Carlton.
Great song, 1,000 Miles. Love it.
See, I think you're an idiot.
So the Beastie Boys were very popular when I was in middle school, and so I was around it a lot.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. It's not as random for me as it would be for some other people. And demographically, you may imagine it was pretty prevalent in where I was going to school.
Juan, both those places are grossly overrated. Although the first one, all the high school guys, on Saturdays when we bring the players in, and they have a little downtime after the workout and then the film, they're all going to that place for their breakfast.
The first one or the second one?
The first one. This one. The first one.
Okay.
Apparently, their breakfast is to die for.
I've had their breakfast. It's not bad. It's not bad.
You eat gas station pizza. Like, what are we basing it off of?
Well, listen, just because I'm not pretentious doesn't mean that I don't have a good palate still. Listen, I know exactly what I'm getting out of gas station pizza. I have no.
So I stopped saying listen. I used to say when I had something serious to say, I would be like, "Hey, man, listen." I would say that, but then I got to using it too much. You are the king of listen.
Every time I say it too, I hear that little kid in my head. Listen, Linda. Every time.
Hey, he's
like grown now.
Yeah, man.
He's like 20 or something.
Dude's like a real dude.
No, I know exactly what I'm getting out of gas station pizza. I have no.
I don't have any qualms with gas station pizza. You guys throw Casey's down my throat. It's fine. Exactly, that little dude. But like, you're not like the quintessential go-to for quality things on the fly.
I should be. You just might not have. You might have.
Bro, I see you every day, and it is debauchery.
Okay, I mean, I've explained.
I gas station shopped for you in Indy. It is utter nonsense.
That's a different thing. Those are road snacks. It's a totally different thing. Those aren't like meals. It's not like I'm sitting here. It's like given all the time in the world. You know what I want? Pop-Tarts. Like, that's not what I'm doing here. It's like, hey, I know how many carbs are in this. I got to get to work. That's what we're doing.
Beastie Boys take greater than your food takes.
I'm just saying. I have great food takes just because people aren't ready for them.
Scott, what you said. What you said.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just.
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. I'm not like, hey, I want some pizza. Let's go to Casey's. Like, that's not what I'm doing. It's not like, hey, out of all the pizza in the world, let's hit up Casey's.
Well, I don't know where to draw the line between the Beastie Boys, Jokic.
I feel like I've been very clear about all these things.
What other good players do you refuse?
SGA. I don't like SGA.
Yeah. You don't like any of the last 2 out of 3 MVPs. But you honk for Wemby.
Wemby's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Jokic gave him 40 without a turnover.
It's fine, whatever.
Gave him 40 without a turnover.
Okay, you're doing the Iowa-Nebraska thing right here.
No, what's the Iowa-Nebraska thing?
Let's talk to Wemby in 10 years and see where he's at. Instead of year 2.
Jokic has been the GOAT for 6. It's fine.
That's what I'm saying, though. You're comparing Jokic's year 12 or whatever to Wemby's year 2. That's not the same thing.
No. Time out. You gushing over Wemby early is no different than you not acknowledging Jokic's greatness late.
Oh, I acknowledge it. I just don't care for it. There's a difference.
But you're not pretentious.
And I was talking about food specifically there. I am pretty pretentious about basketball. I understand that. Here's the thing with Jokic is I'm actively rooting against him now because I just need people to chill on like the all-time stuff. And if he only gets one title, like that kind of squashes it.
I do. Statistically, you're going to have a hard time.
No, I get what the stats are. I also get what Russell Westbrook's stats are, and I don't give a shit. Like, I just don't at all.
Sasha, get your guy. Now, today is the day we do need Rico.
Why is that?
Because he's usually the only one that can joke you off the ledge. He's so, like, he can usually.
Wait, what is Rico like?
I can't recreate it. That was just on a humbug. But Rico is pretty good at he's good at the Simadonna thing.
Just diffusing.
Action Jackson escalates.
He is going to turn the temperature up 100% of the time. He's going to be like, wait, how can I make this situation worse?
This feels like a Rico day. By the way, before we get too into all your hot takes.
Yeah. What do we got?
Where are we at sugar-wise?
We're okay today.
80s, 90s.
I think I'm in like the 105. I was at 105 when the show started. I'm 112 now. We're okay.
112.
Yeah, we're
Cupid.
chilling. Yeah.
It was a boy band back in the day.
Cupid?
112.
Oh, gotcha.
Cupid was a song.
Not familiar.
Girl, if I ever told you I used to.
They sound better than Beastie Boys.
That doesn't mean
just like
and
I'm not like a huge 90s R&B guy, but I would take that over Beastie Boys.
Are you any sort of R&B?
More like the mid 2000s to 2010s. kind of more. That's just more in my sweet spot.
Okay.
Like in terms of age wise.
Humor me.
Yeah.
Give me one.
I don't know, like
2010 R&B.
Well, like probably early. I mean, I know he goes all the way back, but the songs I'm thinking like Usher. I'll ride with Usher a little bit.
This is my confession.
Yeah, I'm more like a little bit later than Confessions because Confessions like early 2000s, right? Like 2001 ish, somewhere in there. I'm like after that.
Really?
Yeah, then I'll ride with Usher a little bit more. He was a little sappy for me early. Like he got a little more upbeat later. I don't know if like his life turned around or something.
Sappy.
You know, just kind of like, come on, man.
Big Chris Brown guy.
As a musician, yes. Everything else, pass.
You do realize the thing with Rihanna was overblown.
I don't know what happened. He just doesn't seem like a great dude. So I just want to make that distinction, just as I would with Michael Jackson. Like, love the music. I will pass on lifestyle choices. Although I would probably say that about most famous people.
Yeah, they're just weird by nature. But I know you're not a big Grace guy, so it's like at some point, figure it out. Just don't be douchey.
Well, no, Grace shut down, so I can't really ride with them anymore.
Have you been over there lately? I'm over there on Sundays when I go to Channel 7.
So I used to, so Natasha and I used to live in apartments right over there after it closed down. So I used to be over there all the time.
Yeah, because that's like 10th and Martha.
Yeah, it's we were north of the we were towards downtown from there, but we were right by there.
That would be north.
Yeah, I miss my directions.
Remember, we're grown-ups.
Yeah, it was.
I know Juan hates directions. Juan's a big compass guy.
If I'm facing where we're at,
it's north towards downtown.
You carry the two. I think it's no. So we lived a little north. We lived north of Martha, but I used to be there. I used to be around that area all the time.
Yeah,
like 2018, 2019 ish.
Pretty good little swank restaurant spot down there, right across the street from Channel 7.
Right across the street from Channel 7. Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking about. I think
Blank on 10th.
Oh, yeah, that's not the one I was thinking of. That one's good too.
You know,
there's a few people.
Get you a little pull out of that straw.
Wait, what are you doing?
I forget where I'm at sometimes.
Wyatt, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I told you guys years ago, don't do that.
Don't do that.
You just now figured that out. I told Shane to do it. I tell Shane every day and he won't. And then you go, hey, do it from your work phone. And that's not going to get you flagged.
No, it's just funny.
Yeah.
That's like, don't Google Evan Fournier.
I told Shane, I told you this before we made the big move about HP.
Yeah, not doing that.
Yeah, we need like a
and he's super unassuming too.
Husker P?
Yeah, you've seen him multiple times. But the most recent, I think, he brought some cured bacon.
Oh, is that him?
In the parking lot. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Super unassuming.
Well, Wyatt learned something today. That's good.
I can't believe Wyatt, you're like the king of knowledge. He didn't know that. He was like, oh, I wonder what that word is. I see it every day in the chat.
We learned about boofing already, Juan.
Yeah, Juan's weird with that.
He's a big fan.
Oh, Juan, I want to hang out, man. But
you
throw me some curveballs.
I'm gonna be honest, Jake. Liking gas station sushi and defending the Beastie Boys actually seems right in the same ballpark.
No, you do know Jake's crazy.
That's fine. Listen, again, TK.
He's a small. You would never guess because he's moved on. Jake, he's a small town Nebraska guy at one point.
He's like Sydney, small town ball.
Jake's nuts.
TK. Again,
you know what I dubbed him. You weren't around for this, Sasha. I don't think you were.
Is that
old
Flaky
enough.
Jake?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Flaky Jake. But you weren't around for Flaky Jakes, were you, Sasha? Who are you carrying on with? You put the quarter in Juan, didn't you?
No, Wyatt goes, oh, what? Because I'm Asian, I'm supposed to know everything?
Well, you are a fast Googler. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I
mean, I just like he's in enough where I would be curious as to what that is.
Oh, yeah. I get you. I mean,
yeah. So, and that's kind of been his moniker for years.
Yeah.
But a super unassuming dude.
TK, again, I like R. Kelly's music. Pass on everything else. Also, now,
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
yes, that I can definitively say bad dude.
He's a bad dude.
But the good news is, in the judgment, all of the money now, all the royalties go to victims, so I can listen to him still, and it's cool.
I think I cleaned my Spotify.
Yeah.
And the hardest one for me to get rid of was the greatest. I am a tall tree.
Oh, yeah.
I am a wind.
But that style
Deep
of
in the valley.
R&B is more my style
Nobody asked me who I am.
than like 80s, 90s R&B, you know?
Big Brian McKnight guy?
It's fine. Is that Back to One? Is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Back at one.
Back at one. Yeah. That's okay.
Do you ever think about
It's a little sappy. I need a little upbeat.
You're just not like, I get it. Like, you're kind of abrasive and rough and non-caring and
very
and
kind.
bad takes.
He's so mad about the Beastie Boys thing. It's unbelievable.
dude said 23 articles in the catalog.
I can't believe a record company kept him on for that long. For 23 albums.
They were
Unreal.
RCA at first, right, Shane?
CBS. Well, that's where the License to Ill album was at, but they had one album before that. I'm not sure what it was on.
So who had the 747? The license. Who had License to Ill?
CBS. Columbia House.
Boy, they used to be a titan.
Yeah.
Columbia House?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did. That was bad.
They've been all over the house. They've been all over a little bit. They've got several different. Looks like they're on Columbia House. They're on Capitol for a while. Looks like
Shane, you like any of those other off-brand, late 80s, early 90s rappers?
Oh yeah.
Like who?
Run DMC.
That's a little more mainstream.
Fat Boys.
The Fat Boys are back.
Is that what you were listening to that day?
When you were in my vehicle? Yes.
Yeah. You just randomly I got in and you just,
Was it in like the last few months?
that was like a year ago, maybe. It was
A
within
couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Good for you, Shane.
He was just randomly rocking Fat Boys for just it was just a thing that came on, you know. It's like he had been listening to it.
Huh.
No, it was an album in my car. I have that.
No, I know, but like it wasn't like
loaded.
you put it on.
You a big Cypress Hill guy?
I like Cypress
I
Hill.
can do Cypress Hill.
Oh God. What about like, I don't want to stretch you too far, but like Fushnikins or Bum Skiddly?
That sounds familiar, but that's stretching it.
You're probably like a young MC guy.
None of that sounded like English there for a second.
See? You and your coded language. You are wild.
No, what did you just repeat the thing you said?
No, I'm not.
Those were not English words.
I'm not humoring you. You're a.
They weren't. Those were not words.
Well, that wasn't English.
It wasn't. It was like you said bum sliggy bums. What did you say? You find that for me in Webster's and I'll apologize.
That didn't sound like English. Hey, I have a question for you before we get some
Before
base.
we take a break in the first hour.
Did we
to
took
make
a break
Sasha happy?
We took a break at 7:30 yesterday, and we're going to take it again.
That's right.
Sasha, are we counting to 6?
Always. For the rest of the month. Till the
Do you
end of
like
the
how
month.
she looks at me? Why don't you just say it like, duh, Dilrod? Instead, she does this.
I think she looked at you like
Jordan's dude.
Are you guys capable of counting to 6? I think that was the look more than anything.
That's fine.
4, 6, 8.
Third base. That was
Scatman John. Scatman John? I don't know who that is.
I'm taking him way back now. Cool. Shane and it. Oh, you get another Cool Keith reference, which is random.
Yeah. So
actually, Jibs, Tribe was really good.
I like Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called Quest was really
See,
good.
I just need quality. That's not an era thing.
You strike me as more like a
I like Tribe Called Quest.
De La Soul guy.
Somebody said them in the I know the name, but like what song did they have a big song?
Potholes in My Lawn.
Nope, that's not it. Asian Wyatt said didn't expect a Fushnikins reference today. Yeah, Schnickens, not a word.
It's the group. Google it.
That's fine. I'm just saying when I say that doesn't sound like English, it's because it's not English. It's not a word. That's fine.
What have you? Is what about lickety?
Maybe actually that might like lickety split. That might count as a word.
It's a word.
I think it's a word. I'll give that one to you, but not schnickens. Pass on schnickens, and definitely on foo.
It's fu too.
Wow, really? This morning already?
No, I meant like I don't know. That's a word I don't use. You don't have to worry about that ever. Like ever. I Como D was fine. I used to live downtown on 129th Street.
There was. I was gonna look up De La Soul real quick. See what.
I used to live downtown, 129th Street Convent. Yeah, Como D was fine.
I was on LL early.
Now he's arguably. I was at the airport in Denver once, and a lady thought that's who I was. I was flattered.
LL Cool J.
Yeah,
ladies love.
I'm a huge LL guy.
Are you?
Have you heard LL's? Have you heard him differentiate between a nice guy and a good guy?
Yes, I think so.
Sash, we're gonna take a break. I am. I want to. Can I do this first though?
Sure.
Well, she may not let me. She gets all pissy sometimes. She's like, it's fine.
It's your show. I just work here.
Wow. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. So here, let me. This is really good. Sash, can I send this to you? Can you get it up the fastest, or do I have to give it to the boys? Let's hear for the boys. Let's give the boys a hand. Oh, maybe he's no Romeo. All right, I just sent it to you. Why is that funny? Do you know what that song was from?
No, that's what Rico said. He goes, went to turn the mic on, and he goes, this dude just yelled at everybody. That wasn't a drop. That was live.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that's classic. I thought he was calling me a crybaby.
No, he was trying to talk about something, and
he just ain't having it this morning.
I think that's KJ. We're just like,
he gave him bad. So he must have given him Pop-Tarts.
No, man. Kids like Pop-Tarts.
Listen, I'm not.
No, you can hate.
I don't want you to feel. You see, you looked at me like you felt some type of way.
You hate all you want.
It's fine. You can have your Pop-Tarts.
Listen, I'm not under any disillusion. It's like gourmet food. Like that's what I mean. It's like I rolled up to Taco Bell and I was like, let's go. We're eating good tonight. You know,
5-star Michelin.
It's just like, it's I'm kind of in the mood for some crappy, tacos. Let's do this.
I can help you.
With what?
With what? with quick breakfasts.
I'm married to a chef, right?
Yeah, but apparently she's gone before you leave, because otherwise you wouldn't bring this trash.
You think she's waking, even if she didn't leave before I did, you think she's waking up every morning to make me breakfast?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I'm just saying that's not, if anything, she's made breakfast burritos and stuff for me before, froze them or whatever, and I can heat them up.
Dude, who said chivalry was dead? We can have some gender roles. It's fine.
No, I'm just saying
if you made breakfast for her before you left, I wouldn't say anything about that.
I just don't know that many people that wake up and actually cook breakfast every morning.
Well,
that don't have kids.
There's people that are out there. I follow them on TikTok.
Yeah, I think those people are full of it. I also think that's their full-time job. They're probably recording those videos at noon. They're like, hey, look, I just woke up here. Let me cook my breakfast. It's 12.
Why are you so mad?
It's 12:30. Can you start off with that crappy Beastie Boys, man?
That'll make everybody mad.
I like old Outkast. That's good.
No, Outkast is fire. I went through my Outkast phase in college.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I used to want to dress like Dre 3000.
Yeah.
So bad. Oh, yeah. Big Outkast guy. But I like the Dirty South, though. I was a big Goody Mob.
Yeah.
Outkast.
I like Outkast.
Master P,
I was a big Outkast guy.
It was the only people I could really listen to that I knew weren't going to be in conflict with Pac. Because the whole East Coast,
had to watch out.
And everybody on our team, they pick sides.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And you're like, nah, I'm going Dirty South.
but I was.
Yeah, you're right with Pac.
Yeah, and Pac switched over. Sash, we good or no? What are we doing over there? Oh, damn. See how she talks to me? Well, play the goddamn music then. She's like, yeah, bro. Go to break. Doesn't fit after break.
Sure it does. Why not? We can do whatever we want. I don't know why Amazing Daniel's on my computer here. Somebody found him in the office. I don't know what happened.
Juan, that is not true. That is not true.
What did Juan say? I missed it.
Yeah,
that seems right.
Yeah.
You like guys named Dave?
You're an idiot.
Like Chappelle.
I do like Chappelle.
See? Told you. That's CB. I'm Ravi. We'll be right back. Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Seltos LX as low as $198 a month. Shift into spring for less. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Kia Sportage LX as low as $228 a month. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Kia. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
Yeah, just more physical. They're using her a lot more out of the back row, and she was really effective in that first set. I thought we did a nice job getting touches on her as the match went on, but I think at one point she was like 7 kills on 8 swings or something like that early on, most of those coming out of the back row. So I have a note that we'll work on defending some back row attacks this week. But yeah, I just thought in general that was something that we were just okay at today. We don't see it as much in our gym, so it's something that we'll get the male practice players going and ripping some back row attacks at us. But yeah, she's just really physical. I thought her block, obviously we didn't get to see her front row presence as much last year. When we played her, she was more in that back row role. So we knew it from club. Again, 1 to 15, 16 on their roster are a lot of number 1 recruits. So we've seen them grow and develop since their club days. But yeah, she just has a physical presence at the net like the rest of their team does. But she did a great job out of the back row. And I thought she passed well tonight too.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. Just having a nice, friendly discussion about.
You're even mad through break.
No, TJ said it's a tequila and tacos day. I can get on board for that. get some tequila and tacos today. Let's go.
I have some ribeyes dry branding right now.
You're gonna make ribeye tacos?
Not making any sort of tacos.
Well, you made I was talking about tacos. I don't know why you brought
This
up
is
ribeyes.
dinner for the boys, so it is like protein and Steakville.
Did you get? Did your house get invaded this weekend?
Nope, that's this coming up.
Oh, that's coming up. Okay.
Yeah, they started back with mat drills.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
that seems fun for them.
It's kind of backwards, but
Well,
that's
it's 'cause
what
the
they
schedule
did.
was
They
flipped.
swapped spring for winter conditioning and OTAs.
No,
Sash, do you have my quote? Are you? She's like, nah. She's no fun without a mic. Why did the knuckleheads get to talk to us?
I'm not a nice guy, I'm a good guy. There's a difference. If a little old lady is walking down the street and some guy grabs a pocketbook and you grab the guy and break his nose and break his arm, you're not a nice guy, but you're a good guy. I'm not in this to be nice. I'm in it to be good.
Exactly.
So I should break more people's noses? Let's go.
There's another clip. There's the tail end of that interview. He's talking about like protecting his energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. You don't make it as long. I mean, because he started in the 8. Coach Huffman and I would play double dribble.
Oh yeah, I had that game.
He used to wear my ass out in track and field too. He was good at all the Nintendo games, and I would play LL Cool J on cassette. With a big old Black Panther and a Kango. Dead Dog series. I'm super.
You big Kango hat guy?
No, I wasn't a hat guy. I went through a fedora phase.
Okay.
But I love baseball hats, but I haven't, and I am wearing one for our team.
Okay, good.
It's a little raggedy flex fit. They got sweet hats though.
You gotta get a nice one.
No, they have them. They're just
okay.
not in yet.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, we're not flipping.
Yeah, Scott.
Jeez.
Well, they've been doing this a minute, it seems like.
Fudge. Apparently, you just roll out of the rack and you're good at stuff. It's Kobe, I stopped. So, Kobe, I can't really tell you about my musical taste because you shamed me over listening to. Who's my guy? He shamed me over.
Oh, yeah, that's like some in my feels music.
Yeah, he said that's some whiny dude girl problem.
It wasn't Keith Sweat, was it?
No, he's super contemporary. He's new. 25. God, he's popular. He's super popular. Yeah, Rod Wave.
Oh yeah, Rod Wave.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
That was funny.
Hey, and speaking of tough, like as we get ready to talk to Kim BIKOFF at 8, are we getting back to it's cool to talk about being tough again?
I don't know if it's cool, but I do think it's necessary.
What happened, do you think?
That became necessary again?
Yeah.
I don't know that it ever wasn't necessary. I do think it doesn't. I think before there was a chance it could happen by accident.
Toughness?
Like calluses, like building up some emotional and physical calluses, right? I don't know if you want to qualify that as full-on toughness, but I do think there was a certain
Juan,
what
hang around me long enough, I get weird.
I mean, Juan, I'm gonna invite you to the Jet Awards next year. You'll understand. So I think there's before all the player movement and all the money and all that kind of stuff. I think sort of by default, if you didn't quit, there was a certain level of, you can call it calluses or toughness or thick skin or whatever that developed almost by default if you stuck with it.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody, if you wanted to play college football or college basketball or whatever, you had to stick with it for the most part. Like you had your guys that could sit out a year, but generally that was sort of for a long time, transferring was kind of a death sentence for your career.
You think they're old man takes?
No, I don't think they're old man takes.
What, get off my lawn?
I think because you are not allowed the luxury of, hey, by year 2 or 3, this kid will be tough enough because of what he's had to go through to get here, because that kid can bail after year 1 now and end up being somebody else's problem. Toughness has to be very intentional now. That's why I think it's come back to the forefront. You can't get there by accident or by happenstance anymore. There is no, I'll drag these guys along to toughness whether they want to or not.
You think you have to overcompensate now because of the fiscal factor?
Because of the fiscal and the portal. just the movement and the money. I think you have to overcompensate. And I don't know if overcompensate is the right word, but you have to be very intentional about looking for, finding, and developing toughness.
If you were raising some soft kids or raising some tough kids, right? You got all these little Lullas running around, and you're
heaven forbid, but you continue. Yeah, I just had like chills. That was awful. I need a minute. Oh my God, I'm a little nauseous. Okay, sorry.
Would you feel different about putting the onus where it should be, which is on how you're raised?
Listen, you're not, I'm not going to argue with you on that. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of times when a kid rolls up and is 18 and is trying to play college sports, they're not there yet. So then it becomes somebody else's job. And so I can't go back and be like, hey, could you fix this, man? What are you doing?
I guess I'm the problem.
But also I do think there is something to, and we're
what's that guy's name, Sash, whose words I butchered on the way down that Avery made fun of me? He sings that, I guess I'm the problem.
Oh, that's your Morgan Wallen guy, right?
He's not my guy, but yeah, it's Morgan Wallen. Never mind.
That's your dude.
You're an idiot. Anyway, carry on. My
way here for Morgan Wallen.
He kind of disappeared.
I think he's still very prevalent in certain circles.
Anyway,
I think he's pretty popular. So I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of country, so it's hard for me to tell.
I wouldn't call that just country.
Morgan Wallen? His name sounds very country. Like if I had to make up like a random name generator.
Dude, he did a mashup with Wheezy.
Oh, that's fine. I think Wheezy's just trying to cash checks.
Dude, Wheezy's generational. What?
No, he's at this point. He's not making a ton of new music on his own.
He doesn't need money.
Well, maybe. I don't know how he lives his life.
Mayweather.
I don't know how he lives his life.
Plus, the drugs he was doing was cheap.
Well, fair enough. I think and we'll listen to this with Cignetti here in a second. That's why we're talking to Ken BIKOFF of Peegs.
I want to do Cignetti last.
Okay.
Because there are other coaches.
So where do you want to start?
I want to start with Jay Will.
Okay. Do we have that video?
Jay Will had some real pertinent comments about
being coached tough.
Yeah. Guys, we have Jay Will queued up.
Austin says we do not right now. If we could get those queued up, the Jay Will and
how much time do you guys need? Like, what else are you doing back there? I mean, if I asked you to Google Artemis, you'd have it in like 16 milliseconds.
Yeah, Sid said this. He says, I don't think collabing with Wheezy makes him less country. Like Tim McGraw did have a song with Nelly, and Tim McGraw is pretty country.
Not for country people, he isn't.
Well, I don't. What do you mean, not for country people?
Because there's this new thing. Listen, I'm far
like
be
as
it
soon
from
as
me
you
to
collaborate with a rapper, you're not real country anymore.
I
or
think
what?
There's contemporary guys that like aren't all twangy. I lost my dog, my job, and my wife left me. Like I think there's different.
You mean
genres
like
within the
old
nomenclature.
School country?
Yes,
like Johnny Cash.
Sure,
Waylon.
There's nothing wrong with Johnny Cash.
No, I love Johnny
You're
Cash.
a huge Johnny Cash guy.
We can hear fist bump shit. I love Johnny Cash. That's like one of my favorites. I love Johnny Cash.
Oh, you guys kumbayaing and s'mores over Johnny Cash since you fought over the Beastie Boys?
I'm just trying to build bridges, Just I'm not opposing him just to be a difficult. Like we have common ground.
No,
here.
you're a difficult, all right.
Well, I don't know about that.
Who do we have ready? Is it because last week when we had them all queued up, they just like got misplaced?
So. Oh, well, I think we just didn't get to it for a full week, and so they're like, "F these guys, we're not doing it anymore."
I think they say F these guys
almost every day.
I think daily. All right, Sasha.
I can't.
I'm glad you don't have a mic.
I can't read lips very well. I'm not really sure.
I don't know if you want to hear what she has to say.
I don't think it was great.
Could you guys cut them some slack?
No,
you guys go hard in the paint.
I'm usually glossing them. They can't. Oh my God, she's protecting the bad kids. See, that's the problem. Listen, we got to stop associating with the lowest common denominator. Those guys are naughty. Every day they do fantastic work.
To be fair, you guys are also naughty.
I brag about them incessantly. They get a baby wrist slap for not working a miracle, which I'm being sarcastic about. And the goddamn cavalry runs in. Protect my Jimmy Neutron. We love Suave. Those are my guys. I know they're good. They're sensational. That Austin found a Kirby Smart clip like a goddamn needle in a haystack.
And then the Ty Horn thing yesterday.
It's pretty good.
On a humbug.
So listen.
I was more making fun of us for not getting to it for a week.
Yeah. I can't believe. Oh, God. I know where the loyalties lie. Team Neutron, Team Suave.
It's fine. It's just me and DB out here by ourselves.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
Jay Will, play the clip.
I say he's got Jay Will ready.
I think we're in a day and age where it's hard to tell people the truth and tell it in their face and say it with boldness and say it honestly and then have you react to it. We're in an age in which everything has to be coach cursed too much or coach does this, coach does that. It's too hard on us. Where it's difficult to coach young people hard these days. If I wasn't coached hard by Coach K, I'm never able to get up after my motorcycle accident. I'm never able to recover mentally. Some of the tools and lessons I learned were from him and how to fight against adversity. I'm going to tell you something. In a day and age in which people are soft as tissue paper, I want my kid to be coached by Dan Hurley. I respect that.
Soft as tissue paper.
I agree with him in general. I disagree with the Dan Hurley specifically because I don't. Here's my problem. Here's my problem with Dan Hurley, and you know this. And I might be wrong. This is just every experience I've had with him has led me to this conclusion. And I understand I don't know him personally. If you're going to coach a guy hard, that guy better knows you care about him first. That's my only qualifier. And the way I've seen Hurley interact with normal people who he's not coaching, that's where I start to be like, I don't know, man. That's my holdup with Hurley. It's not the coaching style at all. It's the berating refs. It's the yelling at fans. It's all the other stuff. The coaching style I'm good with. I don't have a problem with that at all. I want people to coach people hard.
We just had a coach lose their entire team at Tennessee. Maybe under the pretenses that you're talking about. Didn't have the relationship enough.
Yes.
To be calling them out the way that she did.
If I know you care about me, it's the same thing. Like, it's the same thing with our dynamic. If I know you care about me, you can say almost anything and we're cool.
Yeah.
I may not love it. I may say something to you about it, but we're good, right? If I don't know that, we're going to have a problem really, really quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you've worked with people like that. I've worked with people like that, that thought they were somewhere where they could say something that they should not have said.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you're not that guy, pal. Right? We've both been there. So like, I don't have a long
time ago.
I don't have a problem with, I want people to be coached tough.
Guess
Man,
I'm the problem.
I was talking to, Jay Will's right. Like, I do think it's a parent's problem first because the kids learn it from somewhere, right? You're not born and just be like, I guess I'm just going to be a baby forever. Like, that's not how it works. Like, somebody babies you, and then that's how you become a baby forever and have a hard time developing toughness.
Because it has to be intentional, right?
The toughness?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. You have to go, and this is part of the reason I don't want kids. It's really hard to do the things that are necessary to make your kids grow in a way that they need to grow. I understand most of those things are really, really difficult and painful emotionally as a parent.
We're talking about intentionality, right? The outcome has to be intentional.
Yes, 100%.
Shane, play Hurley talking about the assistant coach he's looking for.
Coach to be able to work with us, work for me, just the intensity and the demands of the job. I don't want to bring somebody in here that can't handle it. You got to be relentless. You'll be able to do it 11 months a year. You got to be obsessed with it. You got to take your job home with you. You got to be thinking about it when you're eating breakfast. You got to be thinking about it when you're in the shower. You got to be thinking about it when you're driving home. I mean, the reason why guys like Kamani and Luke have been so successful here is because they're obsessed. And if you're not going to reach that level of obsession with me, it's going to go bad.
Over the top? Sounds pretty intentional.
No, I don't think it's over the top. Honestly, most of the things Hurley says, I don't disagree with. Like, that's not the issue. I think philosophically, in terms of the way he goes about things, we actually agree on a lot. I don't like the way he acts. That's it. Philosophically, though, as a coach, most of what he says lines right up with what I think. Like, you have to be really intentional about everything you do. Otherwise, again, it's that whole, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it. And people use that a lot. But when you're talking about the mentality of your team, it's true. Like, I was just, even on a very small scale, I was just talking to a guy that coaches tennis around here yesterday. And he's talking about, hey, I had a group of kids. And he's like, hey, we have to pick up the balls after everything. For every ball I find, you're going to run. Right? Like, accountability, you got to condition anyway. It's the conditioning is tied to the accountability. That's a good lesson to learn, right? Yet one kid just walked out after the conditioning was over, couldn't hack it. And it was like, yeah, they came in last in some of the conditioning, so they kept having to go. Like, that's part of it too. And this kid just walks out. And it's like, what? Like, where did you learn like that was an okay?
How
old? Just before high school.
Okay.
Like, I think 7th or 8th grade, like
middle school stuff.
Pretty old, right? Like, this wasn't a little kid, right? And this is a coach.
Jeez.
Well, it wasn't. I mean,
you just told me 18-year-olds aren't ready yet.
Okay, but this isn't like one of those things where
it ain't like KJ crying.
Yeah, this isn't like a
Daddy, get that Jalen Brunson blasphemy out of your boy's mouth.
This isn't like a 7-year-old or something.
Yeah.
Like, they're old enough that they can do conditioning and it shouldn't be a big problem. And like, I'm just wondering, like, what led that person, like, led that kid in that moment? I'm not blaming the kid. Is like, what led that kid in that moment to think, oh, this is too hard, I'm out? Because that's
you know what's interesting though? I think we pick and choose, man, because when Dion says things like who he's looking for in terms of how households are ran, he's best practices says he's not wrong.
Okay.
We just don't like that he says it. Right?
I'd have to hear the examples.
Shane, hang on. We're going to break. We're going to break with Coach Cignetti before we bring Ken BIKOFF on, because we love this and we gravitate towards it. But are we really ready for this? Because I think you have a coach that is looking for some of these similar traits in terms of guys he's brought in the building. We'll play this and go to break.
They don't have Cignetti.
Okay. I guess we won't play it and go to break.
So we'll go to break. That's DBL.
Shane, how about the music? I like the music.
I'm Ravi, Lulla, Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Nissan. Lease the 2026 Nissan Rogue Platinum starting at just $349 a month. Shift into the ride you've been waiting for. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder SV, a third-row SUV, starting at just $399 a month. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Nissan.
I mean, obviously not great. We got rolled in game 4, so I wouldn't say we handled it very well. But there were some good things that we saw. So we'll look at that film and point out the positives. I think it was, kind of the perfect storm there at the end. And but yeah, saw some decent things. I'm not worried about the fourth set. I think we're not going to run a 6-2 in the fall. I'll tell you guys all that. So we're not going to do that. And it's going to be completely different. So we saw Skylar Pierce how to play back row. She passed great in game 4. I think that was huge for her. Olivia had 6 digs. I thought she was digging absolutely everything. So we're going to look at those positives and not worry about a couple of those bonehead plays.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Players want to be coached. Great players, you can't coach them enough. You can't give them enough. They want more, more, and more. Inconsistent players want coached on their terms.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined by Ken BIKOFF of Peegs.com because we want to talk a little Curt Cignetti, a little Indiana, and their kind of unique spring ball situation as well. Ken, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Good, good. Plus, Ken, I think our claim to fame should be, we were talking to you before Cignetti's greatness, right? Like, we were asking you about things like, gosh, hey, you're bringing over Hurrdat. He's coming over from Jam. Like, is this going to work? Like, it wasn't even a thing yet. Now we get to talk to you a couple years removed where you get to see the process where you've seen it through.
Well, and it's just such a fever dream of a situation because, you know, I've been covering this program for 21, 22 years now, and I'm an IU alum as well. The idea of Indiana ever winning a national championship was ridiculous. Even like a Big Ten championship was somewhat outside the realm of possibility. All we ever, IU fans or the program, you strive for, get to a bowl, find 6 wins every year, build it, try to make it kind of like Iowa, how every few years Iowa has a really good season and then they take a step back, they rebuild. That's all you're shooting for. And then to go 27-2 over the next couple of years and an undefeated season, a national championship, is just so outside of the realm of possibility that people in Bloomington are still like, hey, remember when IU won the national championship? That was something that happened. That's a real thing that happened just a couple of months ago. There's still a feeling of disbelief surrounding it.
Let me ask you something, because I kind of was, you know, covering Big Ten Media Days for so long. I knew the bravado of Wilson. He talked, he said a lot of the things that I think you would want. Coach Allen, I remember he was at the podium the same time Coach Frost was on the side sessions, and he talked so loud that the room kind of moved towards his presence, and he talked about recruiting and Indiana's recruiting classes. And then in comes Coach Cignetti, and he says some similar things, but it resonates. He stole the show 2 years ago in Indianapolis. What's the biggest difference of some guys that had strong messages, but it's worked so well for Cignetti?
Well, I think it's a combination. First off, Cignetti, everything Cignetti has said has come true. I mean, at every step of the way. I win, Google me. Sure enough, yeah, he sure does. And everything that he tells his players ends up coming true. So all of this to me goes back to Indiana playing Michigan State at East Lansing in Sig's first season in 2024. They fall behind 10-0, and there's a shot it's in the first quarter, and Cignetti's just walking down the sideline telling everybody, a lot of football left. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then Indiana scored something like 42 unanswered. At that point, if you are a player on the Indiana roster, you have to think anything that man says is going to happen. There's no reason not to believe him. And given that he had so many guys who came over from JMU, so many assistants that came over from JMU, they already could have told them that. But then when you live it, it makes a difference. And so you have a culture of belief in the coach, and you're not questioning what this guy is doing. And if he does something odd, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt because everything he has said before has come true. And then it also just raises the standard of everybody around him. And it has taken hold, and it's a whole thing of he doesn't have to yell at players. He will, but he doesn't have to because the players are into each other. It's a culture that was built very quickly, and it's based off the belief in the guy that's running the show.
So I'm glad you brought up the culture there, because I'm at this point with the playoff and the national championship, right? Like, it sort of becomes self-fulfilling to a certain degree. But early on, before there's been any winning, before there's been anything at this level, like, did it seem like he was bringing in a very specific type of personality more than player that was like, hey, I know this type of guy will buy into what I'm doing so that I can, he didn't have to buy himself any time, but I can buy myself a little time until the winning speaks for itself.
Oh, for sure. It is, he's not looking for the most talented guy and then coach him up. He's looking for the right kind of guy who has the right kind of attitude. And even if he's not the most talented guy, he has belief that either he or his coaching staff will get the most out of the guy. And I think that that's something that is really, really important. And he alluded to it in that clip that you played there, that guys who are great and want to be coached want to be coached. And that's the kind of person he's looking for. I know his assistants have talked about a guy that they really like on the recruiting trail that they're after. And they like him. And if Sig says, nope, I'm not, that's not the kind of guy I want, it's over with. I mean, they move on to somebody else, because not just getting talent, but getting the right kind of talent is extremely important to everything that they do. Michigan State transfer Nick Marsh goes out to the first spring practice in gold cleats. He goes out there, Sig throws him out of practice, tells him to go change your shoes, because that's not how we roll here. And he goes and he does it, and he hasn't had another problem. Setting that kind of standard and making sure that everybody stays on the page has been key to all of this.
Let me ask you something. Fair or foul, something to it, you understand it. There's just kind of this perception that, Indiana's kind of one of one, considering he brought his whole staff. He was really questioned. The expectation levels were minimum. Like, it was the perfect storm, given nobody really was overseeing, trying to tell him how to do his job. He got to just do it.
Right.
Is there something to that?
I think yes and no. I would say that yes, because obviously at Indiana, the expectations of just find 6 wins. That was always kind of the expectation, of find 6 wins. By that same token, he had done it everywhere else that he's been. So, I mean, that fact alone shows that he didn't want to put any kind of limitations on him, but he did have the freedom to do what he wanted. And he got a locker room that bought in. One of Tom Allen's problems was there were issues in the locker room that would pop up, just chemistry issues, dealing with NIL and things like that. None of that has been a problem here. And when you're winning at the level that they are, it really solves a lot of those problems before they become a problem, because you don't want to be the guy that rocks the boat. And the best part of what you have now is there is no difference between spring football 2026 and spring football 2024, because he walked in with no expectations, and everything you would not know that Indiana won a national championship and went 16-0 last year with the way he's going about spring football, because even at the celebration they had a couple of days after the national championship, he said, all right, this is over. Now we move on to the next season. And it isn't about building on last year. This is a new year, and we got to get back to the standard that we had.
As you're talking through that, like, part of me just sits here and wonders, and I've been thinking about this for a while now, with especially Cignetti, is like, have we just gotten football wrong for so long about, like, hey, trying to chase the recruiting era, like the stars and things like that? It's like, is it really as simple as find the 22 guys or whatever that will do the thing they're asked to do at the highest percentage? Because that's really what it seems like it's boiling down to with Cignetti.
Well, I'll ask you this. How many national championships has Kentucky won in basketball over the past several years?
Yeah.
They had a huge collection of talent, but talent, all that gives you is 5 fingers and not a fist. And so that's kind of where it is. So yeah, to a certain extent, talent does matter. But you also have to have players that fit what you're doing as well as they possibly can, and be willing to be coached up. And so, yeah, I think to a certain extent, talent can overcome some chemistry problems, but there are certain programs. Alabama certainly is one of them over the years, Clemson for a long time, to where you could just collect talent and go out there and they're going to win ball games, Ohio State. But also in this era to where now there's money involved and there's more of that part of it. Chemistry is just as important as anything else. So yeah, I think to a certain extent, the equation has changed, and you don't necessarily need NFL talent at every position. You need guys who really work together and don't make mistakes, and that to me is the most important part.
This is this is the first time I'm going to say this, but our listeners will kind of know where this was birthed, because as I'm listening to this, I've watched this unfold. I think people in the state of Nebraska, especially given where I've come from, would say I have a strange affinity for Coach Cignetti. This goes all the way back to, we were there early setting up for the show. He was one of the first guys to come in. I'm listening to him on side sessions. He hadn't even taken the panel. And so he's talking to Adam Rittenberg, and I'm just eavesdropping. And I run over and I tell my partner, I'm like, you've got to hear this Coach Cignetti. Like, some of the things he's saying, I said, this is wild. And it didn't really have context. And so I loitered some more. I went and shook his hand. It's early, right? I think he was one of the first to go. Where that came from, Ken, and I'm going to say this out loud. He was giving me his philosophy on bringing guys in and continuity and work ethic. Was giving me Coach Osborne vibes, right? I played for him, 92 to 96. I know what it was like. I knew the hierarchy. You waited your turn. You wanted to be an old, mature football team. We were coming off, the 7 bowl losses. The 92-3 team was super talented. He thought we were a little on the selfish end. He started this unity council. Like, I was hearing things that I'm like, so I would talk about him all the time. And I knew, and Coach Rhule is like my guy. And I know sometimes I feel like, oh, shoot, it probably drives him crazy as an alum. But the connection between foundation, knowing your role, and just mastering that, it captivates me, because we act like that doesn't work when we try all these other things in the world. And ultimately, if you just can get guys to maximize, like, that's 90% of it. So I'm listening to this, and I get it. It's why it intrigues me, because it's simple, not easy.
Oh, absolutely. And look, football is the ultimate do your job. And that is the ultimate game.
11 guys. Yeah. Do
your job. Don't worry about what the other guy's doing. Trust that he's going to do his job. One of the things that has been Indiana's issue over the decades has been a lack of trust between players, because they didn't trust that the guy next to them was going to do his job. So you're trying to keep an eye on this guy for trying to make a mistake, but you're also trying to do your job. Now your focus is split. If you completely trust the guy next to you, then you're going to do your job and do it well. And those 11 guys come together to do their jobs. And if everybody does the little things, the big things come out. And that's something that Sig has preached from day one. You mentioned his confidence in being a guy that has worked his way up. He bet on himself in a very big way. Yeah. You go from an assistant at Alabama to go ahead and coaching a lower level,
because he didn't want to be. He didn't want to be a 45-year-old first. Didn't want to be the recruiting court. He's wanted to move on.
Yeah, and he wanted to show what he could do and build that experience, and he did it, and he's been extremely successful at every stop. And I think the only negative about Curt Cignetti is also one of the reasons why he's successful is his age, that he's already 64 years old, and 63, might be just turning 64 now, but whatever it is, he's older. And so from an Indiana standpoint, you wish he was 45 and was the guy that's going to be here for a long time. But in the meantime, what he has done for this program and what he has done for Indiana football is extraordinary because of his attitude, his no-nonsense approach. And he wins because he has made everybody to expect to win on Saturday instead of hope to win on Saturday. And that is a huge difference in just mindset for a team.
I get the chicken or the egg thing. I'm just curious because I'm guessing there wasn't a ton of pushback. He brings his whole staff. He's very quick to point out, hey, listen, my strength and conditioning, double-digit years, man. Just the amount of time of guys in the building. He said, so protocol within the building wasn't a problem. He got to hit the ground running because he didn't have to explain what's expected.
Right.
How did he negotiate? Because we've seen other schools try this. Hey, bring your staff, bring the whole guy, then you get the buddy hire thing, and there's like pushback. Was there just nothing really said in the very beginning when he basically just relocates because it's like, hey, we don't know what we're getting. We're just going to roll with this. Because a lot of coaches are more scrutinized doing the same thing.
Well, certainly the fact that it's Indiana makes a difference. Because there hasn't been success. Actually, prior to his Sig's arrival, it was one of the most successful eras in IU history, where Kevin Wilson went to a bowl, Tom Allen went to several bowls. You had the COVID year where they had a very good year. And for IU, there weren't high expectations. So if you're in the athletic department and we're hiring a guy to come in and fix it, it's time. We need to fix IU football with the money that's involved, the money that drives an athletic department. We need this to be fixed. And this guy with the credentials that he has, at JMU, at IU Pennsylvania, wherever he was going, it was let him fix it. Get out of his way, let him do his job that he was hired for. And that's basically what happened. And now the reason why I believe his success is going to be sustainable is because the resources have been poured into keeping the guys that have been loyal to him at IU and let them build. And they all know, Sig is not a kid. What's that?
Is that Haynes and Shanahan?
Yeah, for sure. Keep them here, make sure that they can keep this going. And both of them know that, it isn't a matter of, 25, 30 years that they have to wait for a shot to be the next head coach at IU. Whenever that time comes, they have built in, success here that they could pick up the mantle because they learn from the guy who does it best.
We've talked a lot about kind of expectations and how Indiana was sort of unique in that situation, right? Like you come into Nebraska, we know what it's like to win national titles. So everybody who was there 30 years ago wants to say, well, this is how you have to do it, right? As opposed to Indiana, where it's like, you basically just said like, well, we don't know what it takes to win, so you figure it out, right? Yeah. Like, so there is a freedom there. My question though now is how quickly, or have they, expectations changed now that you're like, oh, we can do that? Like, how quickly does the mindset shift from, hey, let's beat Iowa, let's win 6 games a year and every few years pop off, to, well, we just made the playoff with FCS players and then won the national championship the next year? Like, how quickly does that expectations change, and what are they now?
Weirdly, I don't know, and I say that because weirdly, I'm not going into this year expecting, hey, it's going to be, if you don't get back to the playoffs, it's going to be a disappointment, because the past 2 years have been so out of your mind successful that to me, it isn't like, okay, if we don't go win a national championship or you don't go to the playoffs, it's going to be a huge disappointment. I just don't feel that way. That it's a thing of go to a bowl. This is all honeymoon. It continues to be that because it is so unexpected. I see a lot of parallels, like you talk about national championships and being successful and knowing what it takes and getting a lot of advice. I see a lot of parallels between Indiana basketball and Nebraska football with that. Yeah. Because at Assembly Hall, everybody is saying, this is how you have to do it. This is how what you need to do to be successful. And Indiana basketball hasn't been successful in a very long time. Nebraska football won national championships, has done that. They haven't been as successful as they historically have been. At football, though, it is, you go 11-2 and everybody's excited. You go 16-0 and that is just out of your mind. And you're going to have the number 1 draft pick and all of that. So now because you haven't had that success, I'm not sure how, if you dropped a 4 and 8, okay, yeah, that might be something different, but nobody expects that drop off. But still, talking to people, nobody's like, hey, I think that we're 11 wins and this is what we should do. It isn't Ohio State. It's like, people are like, all right, looking at the schedule, 8, 9, 10 wins, maybe. But, that kind of is the attitude right now, is the expectations are higher, but everybody's still riding this wave of every win is kind of still an unexpected joy. It took me until this year's Rose Bowl to go, okay. Yeah, so I think that maybe that I should start to expect them to win and be matched up with this, because they beat Ohio State, then they beat the hell out of Alabama. So when they're playing Oregon in the Peach Bowl, okay, you know what? I think they're going to win. That scar tissue of decades of losing takes a long time to get over. And so I just don't think that the expectations skyrocket at the same level.
Well, even in year one, right? Like when it was time to face the really good teams, whether it's Ohio State or Notre Dame, it was like, okay, there's still a gap here, right?
Right.
Like, hey, we're way better than we've ever been. This is awesome. But yeah, there's still a gap here. We got some work to do. Whereas obviously last year, and I think the reason I'm fascinated by this is I think year one was kind of like, hey, if everybody does their job, if everybody's bought into the culture, then yeah, we can make up some enormous talent gaps. But there is a point where Ohio State and Notre Dame just have too much talent and it gets overwhelmed.
Right.
And then last year was kind of like, hey, if we close that talent gap at all, this thing's a wrap, which is kind of crazy because I still think there's probably a really big talent gap between Oregon and Ohio State and some of those other teams and Indiana. But just them closing it even a little made that much of a difference because of how Cignetti goes about his business.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, this year is going to be interesting because, no Aiden Fisher, no Elijah Surratt, no Fernando Mendoza, although Mendoza, he came in for Curtis Rourke, who was very good.
Yeah.
But even in, in practices last year, you could see, oh, this Mendoza kid is really good. He's going to be better than Rourke. You could see that. Nobody expected Heisman Trophy for number 1 overall pick.
I listened to him yesterday on the Rich Eisen show.
Mm-hmm.
He sounded just like Cignetti. It was giving me these weird vibes because I can say this now because I'm pretty far removed and we have a really good relationship. I would always talk about like guys that played during that era at Nebraska are almost brainwashed. You talk like your coach. You say the things that your coach did. You live your life kind of like your coach did. And it only took a couple of years, one for Mendoza, to kind of get that. So I have a little peek behind the curtain of how consistent the messaging must be where you just regurgitate it freely in other environments. Like I listened to Coop talk about where he was rated and his value as a wide receiver coming out of Indiana with other guys in the NFL. He sounded exactly like Coach Cignetti. Yeah. I'm like, other people are weirded out by that. I'm like, that's why it works.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, it goes back to that culture of, that is why you're exactly right. That is why it works. Goes back to that culture because, again, everything Cignetti has said has come true. So let's say you're Josh Hoover. You're coming into IU. You were a quarterback. You've been good to this point. Are you going to ignore something that this coaching staff tells you, or are you just going to drink it in? Because the last guy that they brought in here for 1 year, he just won the Heisman Trophy. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick. And so I'm Josh Hoover. I'm coming in at quarterback. And yeah, I have my preconceived notions of what I could do and what I can't. But these people that you're talking to, they have just done amazing things in a very short amount of time. So are you going to question anything they tell you? Not if you're smart, and furthermore, if you're brought in here, that means that you're the kind of guy that the coaching staff knows is willing to listen. And so all of that comes together, and it really is just kind of that culture thing. And yeah, it is a kind of brainwashing, but it's also, if you're a player, how could you not believe everything these people tell you?
So speaking of Fernando Mendoza, number 1 draft pick, Curt Cignetti is doing something that appears a little crazy on the surface, but is probably more crazy like a fox with his spring game this year, going right after the NFL draft starts, after I'm sure all the recruits on campus get to watch an Indiana quarterback get drafted number 1 overall. Like, as he's doing things like this, like it's not just about the toughness, like there is a strategical kind of genius to him there that I think is maybe a little underrated. When did you guys learn about the spring game being when it was? How did that process kind of come about?
Well, they just kind of announce it, and you understand what they're doing. They're absolutely going to put it on the scoreboard and be able to show what they have. And so now here it is. Here's Fernando Mendoza, who is your Heisman Trophy winner, #1 overall draft pick. We're national champions, and now here's spring ball. It really is the final turning of the page on last year. Because that is the last step as your guys move on, and now we turn the page and we go into this year, and let's play the spring game, and 2026 starts today, and that is kind of that message. And to me, you're exactly right. It's smart. It's making sure that you have all the players locked in. This is what you can be if you listen to us like that guy did last year. And if you're a recruit, this is where you could be if you listen to us like that guy did last year. It's a powerful message, especially if you're 17 and 18 years old, or if you're a guy that's just getting started here.
That is incredible. Just
it's details. It's all the details.
Real quick, KB, I gotta know. Shane, the music's fine. What does it say about Mendoza not wanting to be at the draft? Something or nothing, given his personality?
Nothing. His mom wanted to do it at home, and so Mendoza was gonna do what his mom wanted to do. It's that simple. And Mendoza is genuine. Everything about that kid is exactly as it appears. And his mom wanted to do it from home, so they're doing it from home.
Fantastic stuff.
Ken BIKOFF, really appreciate it so much. Great stuff there. And I would wish you all the success, but you've already had it. So I wish you a little bit less success than you had last year. Ken, we appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, KB.
That's Ken BIKOFF from Peegs.com. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be right back at a few minutes with more Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Hyundai. Lease the 2026 Hyundai Kona SE all-wheel drive starting at just $179 a month. Shift into spring for less. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Drive away with more this April or save up to $7,000 off MSRP on the 2026 Hyundai Palisade XRT Pro. Don't wait. Shift into a fresh deal this spring at Edwards Hyundai.
Bowden Kapke. Bowden, first off, I guess, why Nebraska? Why did you choose to I guess, go to Nebraska?
Yeah, I mean, we had a kind of list of criteria going into it. I wanted to continue to be developed, play in a style that kind of fits my game, and then be able to have an opportunity to play in that style and show it off. So that's kind of what it ultimately came down to, and playing in the Big Ten every night. I'm from Minnesota, so I grew up watching the Big Ten, and there's just some big time games that it was really hard to say no to.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ, reminding you to give our friends over at Next Gen Mail Medical a call, 402-614-9700. You get a little pep in your step, need a little energy, maybe trying to lose a little weight before pool season coming up here in a little bit. Whatever it is, maybe you're trying to play some adult league baseball and show people you still got the 5 tools. Whatever it is, they got you covered. My man's on some peptides. We're rocking here. We're trying to get, trying to feel nice and healthy, trying to get a little healing going on, trying to feel like we're, 35 again, maybe.
I don't know. I do.
How's the hand feeling? We doing all right?
The hand
it looks
is
like
good.
It's better. You're making a fist.
Yeah, the hand is good.
You can lift the cup. How's the quad?
Quad is sus.
Okay.
Well, we'll get that.
We might need to talk to our guys.
We got the best training staff at the high school, and I got all the love juice I need from over at Next Gen.
402-614-9700. Yeah, so if you're watching along in the YouTube, Coach Rhule is going to join us here any minute now as soon as we get the link over to him.
Yeah, and I promise you guys, like, I thought he was coming up during the week. He's like, hey, I got some time. So I just sent a message, and I was like, hey, give me some times. And he's like, oh, I'm free now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh.
I guess we're sending you a link.
Yeah, on the heels of after talking to Indiana. So this will be interesting.
I believe he is joining us now, head coach of Nebraska football, Coach Rhule. How we doing today?
I don't know if we have him yet. That looks like his right-hand man helping him set up. So we'll get back to him we'll get to him.
That definitively was not Coach Rhule.
Yeah, we'll get to him. Oh, that's look, that guy right there though.
Oh yeah, you've told me about him.
Yeah, the genius.
Yeah, no, it's good.
No, it's just
Daniel says he looks different.
Hey, do you know we didn't play the game?
Which one?
Who's in the middle of our heads here?
I don't know. So we got beard.
Wait, he's Anglo. You should know.
We got beardless Barthel on the outside.
Yep.
Which I gotta be honest, I need you to get a bearded version. It freaks me out every time I see him without the beard.
I'll get a bearded one.
We've got Amazing Daniel, which I don't know why he's here. Somebody just left it on our desk. I also don't know why we have one.
I have a huge one at home. It's kind of weird.
And then I don't know.
That is our man. That's my man, Lane Grindle.
Oh, of course, Lane Grindle. I don't know that I've ever met Lane Grindle.
Shout out the Brewers.
I don't think I've ever met Lane Grindle.
Shane, if this goes a little long, you may have to tell me. I don't know how much time he's going to give us, but however long it is, Mitch
may have to wait.
Maybe a couple minutes behind,
yeah,
if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, you can't. He said he's here. Go ahead, Shane.
He's there.
Coach, how we doing this morning? Can you hear us?
What's up, guys? Martin's trying to figure this out.
Oh wait, no, it's fine. You know me, I'm not very professional. Ravi's the brains of this outfit, so if it's a little haphazard, it's okay. Where are you?
I'm in my office.
I thought you were.
We had 6 a.m. workouts this morning, bro.
Oh boy. Okay, what am I walking into? Is this Surly Coach Rhule? Or are we?
No. I'm saying, like, where would I be? Like, I'm in my office.
I thought you might have been recruiting. You were out the other day. I didn't know if you were back.
Yeah, no. So the rule is head coaches can't go out in May.
Yeah.
April, May, we can't be out. So I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but so I do a lot of like, donor related stuff right now, and go see people and do stuff to help the program. But I can't. We have recruits here, so we actually have a kid here today, so I can visit with people when they come visit us.
Oh, what? So when is that? When are they going to change that? Do you think of when you can be out? Like, why are coaches limited?
Yeah, I mean, it's like when we go out in January, assistant coaches can do home visits, but we can't do home visits for the next year's class. We can do like that, but all the kids are already enrolled. So it's a lot of there's a lot of rules that are vestiges of old times that don't make sense. I was always very proud, to try to go to every single player I was signing or recruiting, go to their house and sit in their home, and then when they came on their visit, have them come to our home, right? And if you remember, when I came to recruit Caleb, I came to your house.
Yeah.
And he came on his visit. He came to my house, right? But I can't do that anymore, really. So it's they've changed things. I don't know, the calendars. So much has changed. College football. I shouldn't even say college football. Collegiate pro football is so different now that everything's changing rapidly.
Well, talking about changing calendars, obviously you guys shook things up this year with the spring practice and now basically flip-flopping winter conditioning and spring practice, right? Like, obviously I understand the reasonings for making spring practice early. What does that kind of do for you in the strength and conditioning part of things now, where that you've already gone through the spring portion? Like, how does that change, or does it change how you would normally run what is now kind of quote unquote winter conditioning?
Yeah, I thought it was elite. I thought it was awesome. One of the things they did was they moved up the academic year here in Nebraska. They moved up the spring semester. So we started on MLK Day. We started a week earlier. So that was part of the genesis of this, right? So, normally spring football takes 5 weeks. We basically did it in 4 weeks, plus the spring break. So whereas before I always believed in 8 weeks of training, spring break, and then spring football, I think we got 5 or 6 weeks. The number escapes me off the top of my head, but we still got 5 or 6 weeks of intense training, strength and conditioning. Then we got spring ball, which we did it condensed, like when Damon was playing. It was a 4 week. You did it 4 times a week for 4 weeks, and they changed that rule. And then people started going 3 times a week for 5 weeks. And then now on the back end, we have 5 weeks of training again, and then we have them all summer. So I like right now, like we did mat drills this morning. We're doing some of our toughness things these 2 weeks. And it's way different, Ravi, when now I'm sitting out there running a drill. I know I've already seen them play football, right? So I know who can help me and who can't in terms of in the fall. I know what a player needs to become a good player. Hey, I was just having a conversation with a young man down at the cafeteria, Eric Ingerson, who's I think had a really good spring. And I was like, hey, what's the biggest thing you're working on? And he talked about it. I'm like, well, let's work on that every day in the mat drills or in the weight room. Like, you had a chance now to self-identify. Like, I have a thing here of every single player, and every single every single player and every single coach. Like, what's one thing they need to improve, and what's one thing that they're doing really well? It's the best thing they're doing, the thing they need to improve. And now they have extra time to work on that, right? So in a world that it's much more individualized now, probably with these kids today than it was 10 years ago, they can look at the football and now incorporate that into their off-season plan and then into their summer plan.
I thought one of the unintended consequences of doing this, and Calandria he referenced it a little bit in the presser post-spring game, because guys kind of gravitated towards that quarterback room. Kalen is super likable. TJ's really competitive. But they gravitated towards Calandria right away too, even though he's got this bravado to him. And he said, when I first got here, we got right in the ball. So we got to bond over being on the football field and just playing ball. And I was thinking to myself, that has to have some advantages, because if I wanted somebody to get along with me, I don't want you to see me during downtime or like us just hanging out, because there's more of an opportunity for you to not to like what I'm doing. If we're collectively trying to get out there on the football field, you can get acclimated quicker to each other's temperament. Do you think playing ball early helped with so many guys, new guys on campus?
Yeah, I think that's the reason why we did it, right? Like I think I think even like, like it's one thing when a player played for me for 4 years, and then, over time they knew like, hey, this is what the offseason is going to be like. This is what this is like. Okay, when coach says this, he really means this. Like, I got it, right? Now, like, you bring in 18 portal guys, whatever it is, you bring in, 10 or 12 high school kids every year. That's a third of your team that's brand new, right? And so I wanted them to get to know Coach Rhule, Coach Holgerson, Jeep, in a football standpoint. So, we might be getting on them about being in class on time or this, that, and the third, but I wanted to get to know them about football, and I wanted them to see us as football coaches, us to get to know them as players, how they learn. They're able to go out there and do some football stuff now, and they all know what they're doing because they went through spring football. I mean, you can teach, but until you actually go out and do it in spring practice, it's hard to learn. And so, we would be finishing up spring ball right about now, and Anthony would be trying to, figure out the playbook still, right? But he was able to do that early. Larry Miles, as a freshman receiver, was able to do that early, learn. And then, honestly, in a football team, you know Damon better than anyone else, right? Like, guys respect guys who play hard and know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so some of those young guys came in there, or some of those new guys came in there and showed, hey, I'm a player. And, that allows them to earn respect, bond with each other. Now we can go back. And then the last thing is, a lot of guys were injured from the season or from preseason. They start to get cleared right about now. And they wouldn't have been able to do football. They're not cleared for football, but they are cleared for football movements and drills. And so you can get a Carter Nelson out there, and he can go out with Anthony or TJ and run routes and catch balls and work on his craft. So getting that done early, I think, had a lot of benefits.
Coach, you mentioned, as you're getting into mat drills and stuff, working on toughness. You mentioned just now in with spring practice stuff, with just guys playing hard and other guys respecting them for that. Obviously, you've been doing this for a long time, but especially now when, the rosters are more fluid than they've ever been. There's factors like NIL and stuff that make things a little bit wonkier than they've been ever before. How much, when you're looking across the landscape of college football and with your team, are you just looking at like, hey, if I can get guys that are tough and that play hard all the time, I'll be fine?
Yeah, I think I never want to diminish talent, right?
Sure.
At the end of the day, like, you have to be big, you have to be fat, you have to move, you have to run well enough for your position, you have to be quick enough for your position. But once that you have that requisite amount, right, then I think both physical toughness and mental toughness are the differentiator, and a word that I believe in is grit. It was a great book written by Angela Duckworth. And, it's one thing to be tough and to undergo some physical pain or undergo, some adversity one time. It's like, who has the grit, the mental and physical toughness to be passionate and persevere no matter what over a long amount of time. I think that's the biggest thing in today's society. I see it with my daughter sometimes, right? Like, when I grew up, I knew, like, hey, man, Scooby-Doo comes on at 4:00. I'm going to be home at 3:55. And hopefully this is the one that has the Globetrotters on. Maybe this will be a Scooby-Doo with the Globetrotters on. And my daughters, if they want to watch that episode or whatever it is for them, they can go on their iPad and they can just search that episode out and watch it, right? Mm-hmm. And if they want to go get something, they can pause, they go get a juice box and come back. We couldn't do that, right? We used to take a picture and wait, and then go to the Kmart and wait for the pictures to come out. Now my daughter takes a picture, looks at it, doesn't like it, deletes it. Everything. I'm not complaining. It's just everything's so much more instantaneous. And so I think teaching mental and physical toughness, that's over time. We don't always all get what we want exactly when we want it. And most of us, when that happens, we just complain. We just feel sorry for ourselves, or we blame someone else. And I'm looking for guys that can be physically tough, that will play hard, that look inward, not outward when things are not going well. And they will persevere through passion over a long amount of time. And so, that's the type of team we want to be. And that's not that we haven't accomplished that yet. Like, I thought our team 2 years ago on defense had some of that. Like, they would play hard every single game. Last year, obviously we had some ups and downs. And so to me, it's just continuing to try to develop this gritty mindset of just being the same guy every day, being unbelievably physical, playing unbelievably hard, and and taking what you want. And so, yeah, I think that's got to be coached. I think it's got to be modeled. You know, I can't change who I am because the end of last year did not go the way I wanted. I mean, I've got to be the same guy every day, or else I'll be teaching these players, hey, you know what the answer to do? The answer is to complain. The answer is to blame other people. The answer is to change. I mean, you have to look at yourself and say, hey, what are things do I need to improve upon? I expect every player to do that, but you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater all the time. And I don't want players just changing everything about them. Just get a little bit better every day. And I think that's, you know, those are the old school values, and they're probably more important now than ever before, in my opinion.
One of the things I mean, and far be it from me to get inside your head, even though we spent an inordinate amount of time together. I thought one of the things that was interesting was just your revamping of the staff. This is just my opinion. Like from afar, I liked a lot of the infrastructure, right? Like no off the field incidents. I thought guys were starting to get really disciplined. You have really high retention. But you had to make some changes, right? Obviously, O-line, what I know was difficult for you. You know, your D-line, you made staff changes. But one thing that I can see, and you'll say whatever you want to me anyway, but it looks like you were pretty intentional about getting teaching football guys in the building. No disrespect to anybody else, but you definitely seems like you've hired a mindset in the building.
Yeah, you know, first of all, I thought the coaches that were here last year, I thought, you know, Donnie and I thought John are excellent football coaches. Mm-hmm. And sometimes things are a bit just about fit. Sometimes things are about just time and place, right? And so, you know, when I'm being self-critical, I thought last year, you know, we finished the season. We beat. I'm talking about 2 years ago, right? We beat Wisconsin. It was kind of on a high. We went to Iowa. We shut down the run game. We did really, and then we lost on the last second. You know, and you know, as you know, things can sometimes get tempestuous, right? And so you had players, you know, Tony White and Terrence left. And players were kind of going in the portal, and maybe I moved a little too quickly, trying to stabilize everything. And so, to me, you know, I went through a process. They were good coaches. Just you have to make sure you have the right fit, right? And so, but I want to make sure I say that first, because it's not like, I think that's one of the problems we all have is like, it's coach's fault. Well, it's a combination of everything, right? It's my fault. It's the position coach. It's the coordinator. It's the players. We all share in this together, right? But I think one thing I want to say about the coaches I've hired, number one, they're excellent recruiters, and we're in a day and age now where like you can't solve your problems with volume anymore, right? You can't go out and sign 30 kids because you don't have that much money to sign 30 kids, and so you need people who can go find the right players and the right fit for us, and then coach them. And then I wanted to have the right teachers who brought stuff that's stimulated the football here, stimulated my mind, stimulated each other's minds. And so whether it was Jeep or Lonnie, whether it was Roy Manning or Tyler Yelk or Rob Orich or Corey Brown, I'm really pleased with the guys we brought in, and I think we have a group of guys who like football, but also like young people and like coaching them and like developing them. And not everything's going to be easy here. You have to get them to play better. And so I like the staff a lot. I enjoy being around them. I enjoy sitting in Rob Orich's meetings. Right. I enjoy.
He's a gem.
I mean, like you sit there, you listen to him and Coach Snow, and it's like there's nothing off limits. Like they just banter back and forth. And Addison had all 5 DBs. You split it with him and Tyler. And he's got no ego. He just wants to win, and I love that. So it's been a good melding, I think, of getting the right people in here. And then Jeep and Lonnie have been a lot of fun on offense. We've added some things run game wise. I think they're going to make us a lot better too.
Coach, when you're talking about time and place and fit, obviously we're talking about coaching staff, and I think, do you think that applies to players that you're recruiting as well? Like, do you sometimes look at a guy and you say, hey, like this guy is really talented and maybe he's got the right attitude, but maybe he's a guy that with the temperament of our current team isn't necessarily the best fit for him? Does that apply to players too?
I think when you look at fit for a young player, I think you have to play. Basically, if you're looking at a freshman coming in, you have to put him in one of 2 buckets. Like, A, is he going to come in and contribute right away, right? Because there's a financial component to this, right? So you can't have your money sitting on your bench, right? We don't have as much as everybody else, right? Like and everybody else doesn't have much of each other. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like we all don't, like we just can't waste money, right? So, you sit there and say to yourself, hey, is this a guy's going to come in and contribute right away? Or certainly in the first 2 years. And then, sometimes I miss the date, like, the guys who kind of develop, like, what would that have done if that was Emmett Johnson, right? Well, Johnny Bullock's over here the other day, and he's talking to the team. He's in Tampa, and then he went to the Colts. He had like 10 or 12 tackles this year in the National Football League on special teams, which was a great season. And he didn't play till year 4, and so as they cut the rosters, for the days of 160, 170, 180 players down to like 105, it's harder to have a walk-on program. And so, you have to divide them into that, like, hey, are you going to help right away? Or are they someone who's going to stick around and stay? And, I think you have to find, that's a big part of the fit, right? Are they going to just leave all the time? Are they going to, what's their mindset? Like you talked about toughness. Like, I think everyone thinks you can coach toughness, man. Like, you better recruit toughness. You better hire toughness, right? If you want a tough team, you better have a tough staff, and you better hire, you better recruit tough players. And so, I think all those things relate to fit. And, you can't probably have, 5 starting quarterbacks anymore, ahead of 5 5-star quarterbacks. Like, they're going to leave. They're not going to stack behind each other. So finding guys who want to be here, who want to have the right fit, who want to develop, I think that's all of our jobs right now, is to figure out, hey, well, if we take this kid, how is he going to fit into our locker room, fit into our culture? And as much as anything, how long is he going to stay here if things are hard?
Coach, let me ask you something, because a lot of your person that I gravitate towards is like the common language and the consistency in the message. But you're in a landscape that's pretty fluid, but you still have to operate on this kind of continuum. When you say things like, hey, this is kind of what we need from a budgetary standpoint, to, hey, I think we're good now. We got what we need to compete. And then the landscape changes again. You just mentioned when we started the interview, you're out with donors, you're looking at fundraising opportunities. How fluid is the financial component when people want to pin you down and say, well, he said this and this means this? Like, what are we missing in that fiscal message that is so fluid?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges I have is, I've always prided myself on, like, I don't say anything. I try not to say anything I don't mean, right? I don't want to give coach speak. Like, to me, it would be disrespectful to every fan. It'd be disrespectful to our team. It'd be disrespectful to come on with you guys and just give coach speak, right? And so I try to say exactly what I mean. The problem is that sometimes it's taken super literally, and I'm saying what's happening in that moment, right? And if you talk to me again next week, I might tell you something different. That's, like, the days are changing. So, like, yeah, like, well, I don't care if it's basketball, football, volleyball, the roster numbers and the salaries are escalating through the roof. And so you might make a big jump, but guess what? So did they. And so, I think the biggest thing for us as the head coach of Nebraska, and Troy Dannon, our AD, is amazing. He's worked so hard to get us more and more and more. And then you look at what Fred just did. Like, I mean, how awesome was that, right? And so it's like, you look at what wrestling did. I mean, like, so as the numbers ascend in other sports, each coach has to do the best they can to try to ascend the numbers. And, I would simply say at the University of Nebraska, like, if we want to, we have 5 national championship trophies over there. Like, you were part of those great teams. If we want to be first, then like, let's output first, like, why not Nebraska? Like, why not Nebraska? Like, why does the state of Nebraska, why do we have to, like, not be at the top in terms of financial output? Like, it's when you think about Nebraska, you think about all the innovations, right? First, to have a Jumbotron, AstroTurf, training table, academic programs, the walk-on program, like, just such an innovative place that always figured everything out. Hey, how can we be great? And this is not college football anymore. This is pro football, and the market is the market. And so I'm very grateful for Troy Dannon and the people here, because they're doing everything they can all the time to continue to get us moving forward. But, like, when I say, hey, we have enough to compete now, guess what those other teams did? They said, oh, they got that. Watch what we do. Boom. And the market changes. And my job is very simply always to say, hey, how come at Nebraska we can't be first in terms of, the output? How come we can't be in the top 3 or 4? How come we can't? And so if we're there, then, I got to continue to say that, because if you were first, guess what? You think Ohio State's going to sit back, so it's an ever changing market, right? I mean, I think there's going to be like 10 teams in college basketball that are like close to $20 million next year. It just is what it is. And so I'll still have people say to me, Damon, I don't believe in NIL. And I'm like, well, it believes in you because it's here. And but yeah, I mean, we got, like I said, we have a great AD. We have great administration that's working on it all the time, right? All the time. And you have to be really, really creative. And what I do know is this is a very wealthy state. There's a lot of business. There's a lot of great agriculture. And I think the state deserves to have great athletics coming out of the University of Nebraska and have great athletics. You have to have obviously good facilities. You have to have good coaches, but you need great players, right? When the national, I remember sitting there as a Penn State fan watching Tommy Frazier run through the entire defense on his way to a touchdown, right? I remember watching Eric Crouch catch 41 reverse pass. I mean, great players make great teams. And so today's players cost money. It just is what it is.
Coach, as you talked earlier about kind of self-reflection and self-evaluation, and as you kind of look back at your first few years at Nebraska here, how has your thought process changed? I don't want to say regrets, right? Everybody looks back and like, oh, I do this different, I do this different. But how has your experience the first 3 years changed your thought process about how you go about things on a day-to-day basis?
I think the biggest thing has been just dealing with the portal roster. You have to remember, when I first took this job, you could only transfer once, right? And so that then changed. And we probably could have moved forward faster if I would have gotten rid of all the kids that were here and just started over like everyone else does. But I'm never going to do that. Like, I got into coaching for kids. So if people don't like that, then I don't care what they think, because I don't respect the way they think. I'm proud that I coached Luke Reimer. I'm proud that I coached Grant Taggy, and I wouldn't give up my year with those guys for anything. Those guys came out 4 games in a row, 4 or 5 games, whatever it was at the end of that year, 4 or 5 games in a row, and battled and laid it absolutely on the line for everybody and trying to get to a bowl. And, you remember the next year, my wife and I, that wasn't like a budgetary. We paid for those kids to go to the bowl. And, that might seem like nothing to people, but like, I don't know how else you can tell people like you respect them and then other than give them a great experience. And so, what could we have done it faster? Had we done that? Probably. Should I maybe, Ravi, have sat there and said, you guys don't understand how bad this program is? Like, do you understand how bottomed out everything is here? I probably could have done that, but I don't want to do that. How does that help you in recruiting? But I think the biggest thing is dealing with like the portal, dealing with transfers, dealing as those things have changed. Like, going from NIL era to raising NIL to now rev share plus above the cap dollars. I mean, it's just all changing. And, I'd say like if I took another job next year and I left here and took, Ja'Cory Barney and Vincent Shavers and Isaiah Mosey and Mekhi Nelson and all those teams, I'd probably start pretty hot at the next place I went to. And I wish I could have brought McCaffrey and Brian Burns and Shaq Thompson with me from the Panthers, but I couldn't, so, maybe, it's not, but I was kind of, when I went through this process, Ravi, I was assured that the people in Nebraska, and most people I meet, they feel this way. They wanted it done the right way. They wanted it done the long-term way. They wanted it done with grace and dignity and respect for the players and respect for the student athletes. And so, yeah, it's probably a little slower than maybe I would have liked. I think we went into last year with everyone. I wasn't saying it, but everyone else had a lot of expectations, like, oh, Coach Rhule year 3, Coach Rhule year 3. I just show up to work every day and just try to get better and better and better. And, so I think probably the personnel part of it, as much as anything, I don't think if there's anything else here, man. Like, I think in season, like, this is not a complaint. I think just, this is a big deal here. Nebraska football is a big deal, and I can handle it. Like, people say, like, okay, people come up to me all the time and say, hey, coach, don't listen to everyone out there. I'm like, I'm not listening to them. Did you guys want to hire a football coach who listens to what everyone says? That'd be the dumbest thing in the world. Like, people will say to my wife, like, don't pay attention to them. I'm like, the only one who probably listens to the noise is my son Bryant, and my youngest daughter Leona, right? So I try to keep them locked in and like, hey, just be a student. Don't worry about, but the vast majority of people I meet in the state are unbelievable and unbelievably supportive. And I think one thing I probably didn't recognize early on is just the impact throughout the course of the season that can have on a team, right? When it's like they open their phone every day and their algorithm is just shooting at them like this. And sometimes things that aren't even real start to become real. You have to address it with the team because it's all they're hearing out there from, sometimes well-intentioned, sometimes good things, sometimes from people who, monetize having an opinion on Nebraska football. So I've had to probably adjust a little bit, Ravi, in terms of in season, how to manage the team and the team psyche. And obviously I didn't do it well enough last year. And so that's why, this offseason, we're really focusing on grit and brotherhood, like, hey, let's be a gritty team that just shows up every day. It doesn't worry about what people are saying. Let's be a team that plays for each other and that brotherhood for each other. So I think those are probably things that are probably more real here. I've had guys come here from the SEC and they're like, wow, this is different. And it's what we use to sell in recruiting. I don't want it to change. When I say this, I don't want it to change. I want to matter and I want to be important. And I want every person in this state waking up every single day, having an opinion about what we did the day before. I love that part of it. I'm just not going to change, bend to people's opinions, but I do listen to people I trust. And I listen to, all the coaches and staff and players. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I think those are some things. But I don't live a lot of world of regrets. I try to take what happened last year and the year before. Always self-reflect. What can I do better? What can they do better? But I don't think of it as a regret necessarily. I just think it as growth and trying to be the best coach I can be for the state of Nebraska next year.
How do you balance the things that you're like, hey, this didn't go the way we wanted to at the end of last year. Here are some tangible changes that we could make versus like, hey, our starting quarterback wasn't there for the last third of the season. That matters too when kind of evaluating results versus process and how last year ended.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great question. I'm gonna give you the most honest answer I can give. When I look back at moments that really bother me last year, I think back about the Minnesota game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at every aspect of that, right? So I say to myself, like, we went to Maryland the week before. Now, I wasn't happy the Big Ten had us twice go to the East Coast and come back and play a Friday game. Like, I didn't think, but like, I can't control the league, right? So I can voice my opinion and like, hey, this doesn't really make a lot of sense here, guys. But like, the league's got to do what the league's got to do, right? So I look at that Maryland game and it's like, man, we were up like 14 twice in that Maryland game. And had we just played better and put them away, then, you don't have this emotional comeback win in the fourth quarter, which drains you a little bit, right? And then, we went Thursday, we stayed Thursday, Friday, which, because, you fly into Baltimore and then you drive an hour to your hotel and you get in at this time. Do you want to go on Friday? Let's go on Thursday. Well, it worked out, but then you're on the road, 2 nights in a hotel, then you're on the road, 6 nights later on a Thursday night. And then we go out to Minnesota and you lose. But when I look back on those games, when I look back on Minnesota, what really bothers me is that it was 7-6 with like 3 or 4 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And our team was in the locker room at halftime, which is a direct reflection of me. And was like, they expected to win by 50, right? Like it's like, that's not how you play football, man. You just go play one snap at a time. You play one game at a time and you have a standard you play to. And, I felt like the team I had the first year, they did that. Like they listened to me and they did that. I felt like the team we had 2 years ago to an extent did that. And I felt like last year's team, I didn't get that done. And, we're playing Iowa in the last game there. We had 185 yards rushing against Iowa in the first half. 185 yards. Like we haven't had that in a long time here against Iowa. And it's like a 6-point ball game, I think maybe at the half, right? Or 8, whatever it was. And then, we stopped them. They punt the ball to Jacory. They re-punt it to Jacory. I think it's probably targeting. They don't call it right. And they get a safety. And it's like the air comes out of our tires. And it's like, and all of a sudden now you look up and it's 40-16. And those are the things that bother me, Rob, because we were also the team that was, 6-2 playing USC. We have the ball in the second half up by whatever we were up by. We picked the ball off and we have the ball, 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line going in to score. And, a quarterback gets hurt, we proceed to lose, 4 of our next 5. I mean, it's just, it just drives me nuts. But that falls on me. And so I guess my point is always like, well, what do you do about it, right? Like, do you sit there and like, do I sit there and complain about it? Part of it is, like I said, I'm going to turn on the TV this summer and I'm going to hear someone talking about Nebraska football. They're going to be like, well, this is the schedule and they should win this game and they should lose that game. And that's the exact disease that affected our team last year that I got to get rid of. And it falls on me. I'm not complaining about the guys doing that on TV because that's fun. That's their job. But like, I'm pretty sure when Coach Osborne coached Damon, he wasn't sitting there saying like, well, this game's going to be easy, but this game's going to be hard. It was like, we're the University of Nebraska. Every game we play has to be our best game. And so like we were 6-2 with the lead against USC and we're still in the hunt to even go to the CFP and Dylan gets hurt and then the season kind of takes a turn. But I go back to that disease was infected in us like earlier, like against Maryland, right? Like put them away. You're up by 14 twice. Like go put them away. Stop the run, stop the quarterback, make a play. In Minnesota, we're up at 7-6 and we just couldn't put them away. And so every team I've had that's been good has been able to win those games. And I thought we won those games the previous couple of years, and we didn't win those games this year. And so, I have to do a better job as a head coach, putting them in those situations, but also getting a gritty. It all goes back to what you talked about earlier, a gritty, tough team that doesn't just sit there and say, this will be easy and this will be hard. Who just says, hey, this is how we play at Nebraska, excuse me.
Coach, how fine a line is it between talking it into existence and acknowledge it, but versus acknowledging it? And what I mean by that is I tell people this, like sometimes if I give people an explanation, they say, oh man, you're making excuses for Nebraska football. And it's not the difference between an excuse and an explanation is ownership. Nobody is punting on ownership. So when you're talking about your team's emotional ebb and flow, you haven't talked much about like needing good players, right? It's grit, it's toughness, it's not folding when it's 7-6. It's the belief factor. How do you move from talking about it too much versus just expecting an outcome, even though you know you can pinpoint kind of where it goes south, right? Just emotionally have been a little soft. Like, how do you address it without dwelling on it? Kind of like if I fumbled right? Like, hey, you need ball technique. I don't want to be thinking about it. I just want to carry the rock.
Yeah, like I think what happens is people will hear me in a press conference, they'll hear me here, and they'll be like, oh, well, like they're not here every day, right? Like they don't hear, like we're constantly working at this. We're working at this better for ourselves. So it's like, it's not, we don't make excuses. Like if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. If you don't like the answer, then don't ask me the question. Right? Like, I mean, I think part of this job is being unbelievably transparent. The people in this state, Nebraska fans, are too smart of football fans to go up there and lie to, right? There's more people at a Nebraska press conference than I had when I was in the National Football League. The reporters are all well informed. They know football. They're smart. The fans are smart. So it's like, don't I owe it to everybody to be honest and say, hey, this, and this? If you don't like those answers, that's fine. But I'm just trying to show you respect by giving those answers. I think with our team, I think this is the year that we're gonna have to just move beyond like this. Like I said, I think we were the youngest team in the Big Ten last year, and we've gotten older fast, right? Both through the portal, but also these guys are growing up, right? Like I brought Ja'Cory Barney and those guys here to help me change the culture. Well, now they're juniors, and I'm in the Matt Rhule today, and they're out there and they're leading, right? And they know how hard this is. They know what to expect. And so when I talk about the things that have affected us, I'm not saying that they should affect us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm saying this is what has affected us. Like Coach Snow says to me, he's like, I'm just like, we're so tired of hearing about our schedule next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, we literally use the schedule. We literally use the schedule to recruit these players to come here. Like, hey, you should come to Nebraska this year, man. We're going to play Ohio State. We're going to go play Oregon. We're going to go play Indiana. We're going to play the 3 teams that went to the CFP. Oh, by the way, we're going to play Illinois, who's a top 25 team, Washington, who's a top 25, and Iowa, who's a top 25 team. Now, you're going to play 6 top 25 teams at a minimum. You should come here because we want competitive, tough dudes. And now all of a sudden we're going to be like, well, man, Murderers Row next year. No. So we can acknowledge that we have quite a challenge in front of us, and that excites us. I can acknowledge that, hey, our team sometimes listens a little bit too much to the outside noise, and that's a challenge. I say that because I'm accepting that challenge. Like, I'm going to make them hear me better this year. I'm going to make them hear each other better this year. I'm going to listen better to them maybe this year. Like, I promoted Jamar Mosey to a assistant head coach, and he runs my academic meetings now. He runs he runs the Unity Council now, right? He's meeting with them all the time, and I've just said, hey, you take this, man. Like, you affect these guys. And so we understand the challenge, and I also have to sometimes remind them some of the, Damon, we're one of, I think it's 3 teams to be top 30 defense each of the last 3 years.
I talked about that the last week or so, where you're actually one of 5, only one of 5 to spend to finish in the top 30 in defense. I bring that up a fair amount.
And I'll say like to Ravi's point earlier, we've had back-to-back winning seasons for the first time in 10 years. And people think I'm saying that to talk about how great we did. No, I'm actually just making sure everybody remembers how bad it was before we got here. Like, what happened the previous 10 years that the University of Nebraska can't have back-to-back winning seasons? Like, so yeah, we're not happy with where we're at. But like, I'm even talking to you guys. Like, I want people to know, like, we are attacking this head on. And either like, honestly, like, I tell the players, I tell our players, our coaches and staff here, either you're with us or you're against us. I cannot stand a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if you're with us, be with us. If you're not, be not. Now, that doesn't mean like, again, I'm not saying like, I love walking into the, I love pulling into like coffee out there in Waverly. There's like a gas station, right? And a bunch of the guys that are farming, like they're out there in the morning, sometimes afterwards getting coffee. I want them to be like, what the hell was he thinking? And like, I want that. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is like to our team, like, bro, either you're with us or you're not. Like just attack and move forward. And so, you know, I think sometimes the end of last year, you know, and literally the last 2 years, 3 years, is like, that's the thing we have to solve, right? We have to get better as the year goes on. And then when things aren't going our way, we have to continue to attack. And that's what I look for this year in the portal and recruiting. I was like, just find me grown men. Just find me grown men. That's why I did spring ball early, Ravi. I wanted to figure out who the grown men. Now you could be a 17-year-old grown man, but just find me the grown men who the gritty alphas who want to go fight. And you know, it's taken us a little longer here to figure out, you know, or develop them in some ways, but we got a lot of them now, and I'm proud of them. And so I like this team a lot. And I'm excited to see what they do. And but if that makes sense. Like I'm not going to talk about like I'm not going to get to next year, Damon, and be like, hey, you know, run the road. Like I'm saying sometimes say that to you guys because you guys like football. I like talking to you guys about football things. But with this team, it's going to be about freaking playing one snap at a time, attacking every single play, every single day, being the same guy, and just being gritty. Passion plus perseverance over time.
Let me ask you something. This is fascinating because you do have a chance with just a modicum of success this year, looking like football, laying it on the line. You do have a chance to really flip and be an older football team next year, but you can't fast forward because you're a big stay in the moment guy. But there's just a lot of cannibalism, right? That I think you're. I don't know if you're trying to shield your guys from or not, right? You got other programs that are winning, softball, right? Winning, baseball, winning, basketball. Coaches, you have a fantastic relationship with, right? The Mannings, the Hoibergs, guys you rock with. And you hear this, well, you know, it really turns up the pressure on. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, guys? I don't know. I think he's other centered. He's for other people. His job is going to be his job from an aspect standpoint, regardless of what the other sports do. Do the guys, or do you catch wind of them scorekeeping with other sports? Because we do it real easy in the media and amongst the fan base.
Yeah, I don't hear that, and I think I want all the other sports to win. I think you want to create both a culture of excellence. And to quote the great North Carolina soccer coach Anson Dorrance, like you want to have a cauldron of competition, right? So, you know, I loved, you know, I went to all three basketball team games, NCAA tournament games, right? I love Amy Williams, and she's been to the NCAA tournament for the last 5 years. You know, my daughter played volleyball on Saturday, and Harper Murray comes to the game to support her. I love the women's volleyball team. You know,
you invite Coach Manning to practice.
Yeah, Coach Manning comes to practice. You know, Coach Oates and Coach Ward, sometimes they'll come over. Like, you know, recruit was in for basketball the other day. Like, you know, I got to go talk to him and meet. I mean, like, we all work together. So, like, if like Damon, would you respect me if I said, man, I'm really feeling the pressure because baseball's winning?
No,
like. Would you respect, would you respect? I wouldn't even respect it at all. Like, if I'm doing my job any different because of what's happening around me, then I'm not who I say I am, right? Like, so no, I don't think anything of it. I was fired up the other night when baseball came back, and then proceeded to be great. I love watching Jordy Ball and the softball team. I can't wait for Big Tens and track. I love Coach Cornell. But we're worried about us and us alone. I think it's all that kind of talk is really, you know, it's not who we are. You know that it's fun to talk about on a show. It gives someone something to talk about. But like we're out there at 6 a.m. this morning. I was in New York City last night. I get home at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm in the office at 5:30. Like you think I'm doing that because I want to keep up with DBK? I'm doing that because that's my job, man. Like, you know, and I'm assuming she's probably doing the same thing, knowing her. So yeah, man, we're just worried about us and grinding, but also very proud of everyone that's around us.
Coach,
let me get one more in, Coach.
Okay, go ahead.
How
I got 14 minutes, so I got to be on the field.
Listen, I'm not even going to take it that long. This is it for me.
Yeah. That's what he says, Ravi. That's what he says, Ravi.
Hey, listen. Well, there you are. You started out a little surly. Now you're back.
You tell me you got 14 minutes. I'm probably going to take all of them. So,
I am curious because we haven't really talked about this since the Board of Regents and the stadium expansion, right? We're going to condense that thing. You got money set aside for renovations. You got camps that want allocations for revenue spending in sports, and then there's this stadium deal. You talk about staying dialed in to the task at hand. How do you stay dialed in with kind of the numbers and the discussion that surrounds Memorial Stadium?
Yeah, I mean, it really has nothing to do with me, right? I mean, Troy will be the first one to tell you, like, the stadium we play in, like, has nothing to do with what we're doing, right? And so I trust the people I work with, and I trust the people I work for. And so whether it's Dr. Gold, whether it's Troy Dannon, whether it's the Board of Regents, like, they'll make all the right decisions in terms of what to do. I think the best thing you can do is not get distracted and you know, as I told you earlier, I'm always going to try to fight to get as much money as I can to get the players we need here. You know, that's part of my job. I feel like, right, is to raise the money to have the best roster possible. Like, I get texts from people sometimes. They're like, "Oh, what's going on with this recruit? What's going on with that recruit?" It's not even recruiting. Like, what are we talking about? It's finances. It's player acquisition. It's free agency. It's the NFL. And so, you know, like, that's part of my job, is to make sure we get the best players we can get here, both to visit and then hopefully eventually to come. You know, a couple times I had a couple people say to me this summer, like, "Man, we keep getting these top tier offensive linemen here. We get down to the final 2 or 3, they're not able to get them." And I'm like, it's because we couldn't pay as much as the other team. Like that's just what it is. And so, like, that's why we've worked so hard, and Troy's worked so hard to get, you know, the roster acquisition up. And so, but when it comes to the stadium, you know, I would like to have the type of team that, like, would play you in the parking lot, would play you in the practice field, and that, you know, that stadium, we're going to go out to this fall, just like this. If they pass the stadium, you know, there'll be some changes in the following year, and eventually the stadium will be, you know, renovated. And, like, all that really matters to me is what's the football like inside of that stadium. So I think to be able to stay disciplined and focused on what your job is, you have to have tremendous trust of the people around you. And so that's the trust I have. And, you know, Troy Dannon and Courtney Gaucher and all the people, like, they know what to do. I trust them. That's not my job to worry about. My job's to worry about these players, and then the 27 class, and then, you know, all the football that we're doing right now.
Coach, I'm glad you brought up kind of those recruiting battles and what they come down to, because I keep sitting here thinking, right, and as long as you've got enough money to get into the neighborhood, I always wonder, like, if you're trying to build a program on toughness and grittiness and guys that want to stick around and be about that, if you're in the neighborhood, how much is there any hesitance from your side to want a guy that makes his decision based off of money? Does that make sense?
No, there's no hesitance. There's no hesitation for me, because at the end of the day, I think each one of us, when we're looking at a job, right, mm-hmm. We want to know that we're going to be financially taken care of. And once we know that, then we pick the best job, right? Like, then we say, like, okay, so, like, to me, these kids have only grown up in this era, so they don't know what we did before this, right? This is all they know. And, you know, for them, a lot of times there's a psychological effect of the money, in terms of, like, hey, this tells me what you really think about me, right? And so I'm not saying that that's always true or right, you know, but that's how they see it. And so I think, like, I have every one of my assistant coaches, like, you know, like, hey, you know, so-and-so's trying to hire EJ, because you guys have EJ's face up there. A lot of people have tried to hire EJ the last couple of years.
You like,
and, you know, he's an excellent running back coach. I hope everyone appreciates how good he is. He's a great recruiter. And he's opened up Chicago to us, right? I mean, Claude and Puma is good, you know, a really good young player, right? And we have some kids committed to us. So EJ's done a great job. But, like, people have tried to hire him, and it's like, well, you know, if they're going to pay him twice what I'm paying him, I can tell him I love him all I want, or that he's happy here. Like, he's probably going to take a 50% pay cut, right? I mean, he's probably going to take a 50% pay raise. But if I can get in that neighborhood, and I think the word neighborhood we have to be very careful about, because I think, like, we have to know the actual numbers to decide what the neighborhood is, right? Like, you know, so I think that's really, really important. I think one of the things with problems is something, you know, because there's not a lot of transparency, we operate in this nebulous, like, philosophical conversation, but money is money. And so dollars and cents. And so I think all of us, when we take a job, we want to know what we're going to get paid. If that's reasonable and it's satisfactory to us, then we pick the job where we'll be the happiest, where we have the best quality of life, where we have all these different things, right? So I think a player needs to know, like, hey, what's the financial component here? What's it going to mean for me? And then from there, I hope then they say, okay, these two things are close. Let me pick the school that fits me the best. I think most players want to go somewhere where they're happy and going to be successful. It's just that the money is a major part of it, right? Like, like people say to me, like, what, they talk about like our run defense last year, right? And which they should, and it wasn't nearly good enough. And it wasn't like 4 yards a carry. It was more explosive runs over time, right? And big explosive runs that hurt us and cause us to lose games. But no one ever says, when they think about the poorly, we think about the players coming in. But no one ever talks about the fact, and I don't care if they talk about it, but like when you think about how the portal, it helped us in some ways last year, but also hurt us in that, we lost BIKOFF, who was a really good player as our leading tackler. We lost Jamari Butler, who was one of my favorite players here. We lost Prince Will, who went to LSU and tore it up, Ole Miss and tore it up. So you take three guys who played a lot of football for us and take them off that defense, and you lose Ty and MJ Sherman and all those guys, man, like that starts to really, really affect you, And so I'm anxious to see everyone wants me to get rid of everyone that played last year. Wait till you see how Cam Lenhart plays this year. I feel really good about that. I feel really good about Riley and the guys we've had. I feel really good about Waneri and Cade Petschok. I mean, those guys were all a year older. But I think there's something too, like you have to just admit the money's the money. Like I remember when we had McCaffrey and we redid his contract, like he was going to play hard no matter what, but he wanted to know, like he deserved to know. And, we did DJ Moore's contract. They deserved to know that they were going to get paid in a manner requisite with the market for how they played. And once they knew that, then they could go back to focusing on football. I think it's the same thing in recruiting.
Have you seen immediate dividends, at least emotionally, with moving your practice times? I'm always curious because you study so much data.
Yeah. So I've gone back and forth on the practice times the first 2 years in terms of what to do, and I stayed with the mornings. And really, there's really two components to it, right? When we talk about like you talk about like the Big Ten as it was, right? When both before I got here and then my first year, there was like the Big Ten West, right? I remember my first year, like I think every flight was like an hour and a half. Right now, we're on the plane for 3.5 hours, right? You fly in the East Coast, fly to the West Coast. So, I wanted to get more sleep during the season. I want to be able to sleep in a little bit longer, right? So, if you tell people that they have, you have to have breakfast done before 7:30 and meetings start at 8 or before 7:30 meetings start at 8, they're going to get here at 6:15 every day, right? Which means I got to get to 5:30, and so that had an impact on young people over time. And then I looked at the weather here, right? Like we're out there sometimes, the field's frozen. We went earlier in the spring, like we can use the indoor, but we want to get outside. So I talked to Joey McGuire, the head coach at Texas Tech, and if you basically take our program, all the things that we say, like all the things that we do, like a lot of them, he does. He has in his building. He helped me build those when we were together at Baylor. And the one big change he did was he went to afternoon practices. And I said, what'd you think? He said, well, we had less injuries. Our guys seemed to have more energy through the course of a season. Like Damon, when you and I were in school, we were playing in the 90s. Like I didn't have a cell phone. You might have had one. I didn't have one. Like, I wasn't. Guys weren't getting.
Listen, you know my mom. You think I had a cell phone?
But these guys are getting 3 to 4 hours sleep sometimes because they're on their phone, they're scrolling. Everybody's central nervous system is all screwed up from their phones now. There's just so many things that are different. So talking to Joey, they had done a lot of studies on it, and they did it last year, or maybe the last 2 years, and he has seen tremendous dividends. So we went with it, and I thought we had a team that showed up excited every day. When we could go outside, the field was thawed. It might be 25 degrees in the morning, but it might be 45 or 50 degrees in the afternoon.
And you'll have your goofy shorts on.
Every time. Same guy every day. Same guy every day. Same guy every day.
Hey, who's actually kind of sneaky tough?
Who?
It's Dikil Shorts.
Yeah.
He stays in shorts.
Yeah, but he's like 30-something. That doesn't – don't tell me anyone's tough until they're 30. He's 30-something.
Hey, listen. Do you like my clean face version of Coach Barthel?
That's so scary. That's how I looked when I first met him. He was a Golden Gloves boxer, right? So that's Golden Gloves, EJ, right there. I way prefer the bearded a little bit heavier version of EJ to that guy.
Oh no, you did.
That's what I told him. I told him he needs to get bearded EJ up there.
I'm gonna take a shot at him and say, look at that guy. That guy's like 220 pounds of like boxing fury right there. He's gonna call me all mad. Don't clip. Tell your guys not to clip that.
Austin, don't clip it. Coach, I gotta ask you because I'm sitting here and we're big NFL draft guys. Obviously, you spent time in the league and you're trying to get your guys to the league now, and you've had a really good.
I know where you're going with this.
You've had a really good track record of that across your stops. I keep wondering. I'm looking at all these guys.
No, he's mad. Just say it.
Yeah, I'm mad. I'm pretty mad. I can't understand how anybody has watched tape of Sierra Wright and isn't putting that guy on mock drafts and everything else, especially when you look at like what he did to a guy like Mekhi Lemon and what he did throughout the season where people didn't even want to throw at him. Like, what am I missing about what Sierra Wright did last year that he's not getting the draft love that I think he should?
You're 100% right. I've talked to all kinds of GMs and people. Like I remember I tried to get him in the Senior Bowl. And he didn't get in, but we got him in the East West Shrine Bowl, right, or whatever it's called. And I was down at the Senior Bowl. I go down the Senior Bowl, and I think people are probably like, "Why is he at the Senior? Why is he doing?" Well, I'm down there. I'm talking to Drew Fabianich, who's a great dude, who's running the Senior Bowl, and I'm like, "Listen, if a guy drops out, man, Sierra crushed it at the East West Shrine game. Bring him in." And he was like, "I don't think anyone's going to drop out." And then later that day, someone dropped out. The next day, Sierra was there, and he showed up, and he competed, and he was tough. And so all the scouts I talked to, he interviewed well. I think people, whoever drafts him or gets him, is going to get one heck of a football player, one of the best leaders I've been around. A guy that came here, as sort of a young man and is leaving now as a grown man. Like when I think I'm looking for grown men, that's what I'm talking about here. So I think he's a guy that has outside, inside flexibility. He can play in the slot at nickel. He can play outside at corner. He can play on special teams. I think he's a pro. He'll play for a long time. So I agree with you completely, Ravi. People, if they're not looking at him, they're missing the boat.
How about Latovsky, man? He seems like he's flying under the radar. Maybe an undrafted free agent guy, but he's got all the tools, man. What are we missing with Latovsky?
I've talked to in pro day. I think he really helped himself at pro day.
He had a really good RAS score too.
What score?
Well, they do like these predictive measures of guys and like I'm an
awesome. I just didn't hear what you said.
I was going to say, yeah. I'm not interested in you making fun of me. Like,
no, I'm not making fun of you. No, I just couldn't hear what you said.
You've been good.
No, but I think he's a guy that could get drafted. And he's really powerful, explosive, big. His best football's ahead of him. He's been able to. He kind of a lingering knee, so he might have a couple of medical questions that he's battled through. I mean, it's a hard thing. Like people sometimes will say things. I'm like, how many of these guys play? One thing about these kids, like Henry Latovsky played through a lot of pain. He practiced through a lot of pain. I respect that. I can't tell you how much I respect him. And so I think he could get drafted, though. I think he has a chance. I think someone will be smart to draft him because he's got all. To your point, he's got all the measurables. He's played a lot of good football. He's played in the Big Ten.
Coach, it is right on the dot that we got to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate the time, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Hey, can I make the reservations or what, man? Like, what's going on? I got a spot.
What spot are we going to?
I'm not going to tell you. Just say yay or nay.
Is Ravi coming?
No. Let's go. Is that an invite?
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met Ravi. Ravi, have we ever met?
We met at Big Ten Media Days in passing, but
that's what I'm talking about. When I say meeting, I'm sorry. I mean like outside of actual work.
No, we have not met outside of football.
So why does Damon want to bring you?
Okay, it's fine. He can come.
He's afraid that people like me more than him. That's the problem.
All right.
You make the reservation. Let me know.
You got it. We'll see you soon.
Guys, thank you.
Appreciate it, Coach. That is head coach Matt Rhule, Nebraska football. We're going to take a real quick break here, and we will be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to shift into spring at Edwards Chevrolet. Lease the 2026 Chevy Trax LT for just $319 a month, $0 down with your first payment due at signing, or save $2,500 off MSRP. Spring on these deals before they're gone. Drive away with more this April. Or lease the 2026 Chevy Silverado RST for just $579 a month, $0 down with your first payment due at signing, or save $9,000 off MSRP. Get to Edwards Chevrolet today. Together, let's drive.
It's the declaration of deals at Edwards Jeep and Ram Village Point and Council Bluffs. Lease the 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn 4x4. Returning lessees just $389 a month. Non-returning $449 a month. Zero down. Shift into spring with deals this good. Only at Edwards Jeep and Ram. Or lease the 2026 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sport S 4x4. Zero down. Returning lessees just $319 a month. Non-returning $369 a month. Don't wait. Declaration of deals won't last. Get to Edwards Jeep and Ram at Village Point and Council Bluffs today.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mayo Medical. That's DBM Ravi Lulla. We are joined now by our very patient and gracious guest, Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, how are we doing this morning?
Good. No apology necessary at all. I got to sit here and in the waiting room and listen to that. So that was great. You know, you may have noticed he doesn't say a whole lot in the off season these days.
No,
so I got 40 minutes of listening to the head coach. I hope other people did too.
You know, and the interesting thing too, Mitch, is we'd like to try to ask the questions that we think people want to know, and there are a couple in particular I thought were interesting. There's I don't know if it's straw man. I don't know if it's a real thing, but like there's this, you know, once the stadium not expansion, but the renovations and that talk, and it gets an actual dollar figure, immediately there's this, well, what about this? And we should do this. And how would this guy feel about this? And I felt like I didn't even know how I was going to ask the question, but I felt like the compare and contrast, he was pretty forthright about how that whole thing shook out with what it has to do with football and in terms of leadership and the dollars.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's not another way that Nebraska can do what it's trying to do here with this stadium renovation thing. And you're talking about the $600 million.
Yeah.
You're not talking about NIL. Okay, sure. I didn't hear the first few minutes of the interview because I didn't know it was happening.
Convoluting like people want to commingle the two, and he was pretty clear. He was like, well, they're two different things for us.
Right. That is not open for debate. They're clearly two different things. I think it's hard to tell people how to spend their money if you're the type of donor that Nebraska's targeting for a $250 million capital project. Then clearly you have a lot of resources, and it's not my job or your job or it. I suppose Matt Rhule can have some more say, but I don't think he likes to do that. And as far as telling people how they should spend their millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars, like people are going to choose that. And if they choose to support something that has what Nebraska is saying, a multi-generational impact on the state and the university versus throwing money into a pot for NIL when, you may or may not get any return on investment at all, like there's a choice to be made there, and one has some risk and one doesn't. And it's not as simple. There's nothing about that conversation, about that decision, that's as simple as just saying, well, hey, you're donating to this project, but no, you shouldn't be doing that. Put it over here. And then Nebraska can just buy the biggest roster, the best roster in college football. Like, that's a pipe dream. That's not reality.
It doesn't sound like that's what he would want to do either. I don't
think that's what he wants. No, I don't, because he understands
he was
he's being realistic
about what he wanted, right? Like,
he would like to find people who are just as committed to the stadium project in their philanthropy, and direct some of that to NIL, absolutely. But it's a different conversation.
Mitch, it's kind of funny because I think if we're really honest with ourselves, like, giving to NIL money, very realistically, if you don't get the wins that you think you want to, so I look at places like Florida State and LSU in recent years who've been really high spenders that haven't had the results that they expected, although on very different levels, of course. And then you look at giving to like a stadium project as an example. Mm-hmm. Giving to NIL could really feel like just flushing money down the toilet, right? Like if you're, I'm not saying it is, but like if you don't get the results,
there's more risk.
If you don't get the results you want, like it could feel very empty. Whereas if you're giving to a building, you can point to it, say, hey, my money helped build that. Now,
the only thing we're missing in this conversation, and I'm not on either side here, Mitch, because I don't have enough information yet, but I will say winning produces a ton of revenue, and it produces a lot of revenue later. We're still capitalizing on winning in the 90s in 2026 from a revenue generating standpoint. So I just think we're a little dismissive of how winning garners.
I don't think so. I mean,
I
think everybody understands the importance of winning, and people recognize how much Nebraska wants to win.
There's value in it, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So Ravi's point, and that's kind of what I was saying, and maybe it was convoluted, but just put it in real terms. Let's say you're a donor and you're trying to decide whether you want to support the stadium project or NIL endeavors, and the NIL folks come to you and say, hey, we're going after this offensive tackle in the portal. We're $1 million short. Can you donate that? And you say yes. And then that tackle ends up coming and getting paid, and he flunks out of school, or he is a bust. Like it's money flushed down the toilet. Whereas if you're approached to give that money to support a stadium project, like the stadium's going to get renovated. It's going to get built. It's going to get fixed. It's going to have an impact on not one team, not two teams, but years and years of teams and the program at large. So it's just a different pitch that the university and their people will have to present. And you have to be coming at it from a different mindset. It's apples and oranges. And I think a lot of people here since Friday, when this $600 million figure came out, the $250 million that Nebraska is raising. And by the way, Nebraska's already raised a huge chunk of that. Like I heard
drama. It's because we like drama.
Yeah, I guess I heard from, this is misguided. I heard from people here over the last 3 days, like $250 million. How are they going to get that? Well, let me tell you, they don't announce the project if they haven't already raised a big chunk of it.
Yeah. Mitch, they
still have some to raise. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of money, but like they're not starting from zero here.
Yeah, I guess a big part of it for me, and the context matters here. So I'm glad that DB brought that up. But I guess like a situation I would be describing is, obviously a very high profile NIL recruitment last year was Bryce Underwood to Michigan, right? Was committed to LSU. Some big fat check comes in from Portnoy and Ellison and whoever else, and all of a sudden now he's going to Michigan. If he had left Michigan after last year, said, hey, this isn't for me, I don't like this, I came to play for Sharon Moore, and I'm going to play for a different head coach now. Those people who
what happened to him? Oh, sorry.
He might need a little NIL as well these days. But the people that paid for Bryce Underwood to get to Michigan, I have to imagine would feel very empty about that experience.
Yeah, but I think they would. And I think you go into it understanding what you're doing. If you're giving to an NIL fund, especially for a specific player, and don't think that those conversations don't happen. It's not just Bryce Underwood. Like those things happen at every school. It makes the pitch more appealing. Like if somebody comes to you and says, as a donor, and says, hey, we need $1 million of your money to boost our roster. Like you have that creates a draw. There's an emotion that surfaces there. But if they come to you and they say, hey, we need $1 million for XYZ running back who can be a 1,500-yard rusher for us, like that's different. Like you maybe or maybe not, depending on the person, will be more enticed to give in that situation. I don't know. I've never been in that spot to have to make that decision or consider it.
You don't have just millions lying around, Mitch.
And different people are going to approach that from a different way. Maybe somebody just wants to support the general fund, and other people want to actually help buy a specific player. But what I'm saying is, like, if you are in that business and you are giving money in that kind of a way, I think you go into it understanding that it might not work. And if you were the donors that you mentioned, Ravi, in buying a quarterback, buying a 5-star quarterback out of high school, like there is a realistic percentage. It's not a small possibility. It's like, I don't know, 50% that guy's not going to bring greatness to your university. Like, not to single out Bryce Underwood, and he may still bring a national championship to Michigan, fine. But he also could be gone in a year. And that's the same. It was the same way with Dylan Raiola, and it's anybody who's in that spot who's a high priced player. There's major risk involved in this kind of giving, and some people are averse to that, and others are not.
I thought it was.
It's like that in other aspects of life too.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Coach Rhule is a little tongue in cheek, but I think I know what he was getting at when he said it's important because of the lack of transparency to actually know dollar figures we're talking about. He said a lot of times we throw these dollar figures out, and we're not sure that that's the cost of doing business either.
Right. Yeah, I find myself doing that too, and that was probably true here in like some of the basketball conversations recently as Nebraska worked to retain players from the roster this last season. Like I just thought, okay, and I probably said this like at some point, you're going to re-sign Price Sanford, and like you just throw out a number and say it must be this amount because I've heard that's what a top player, an all conference player is going for, and then it might not be reality. Like maybe he went for 75% more than that. Who knows? Like they don't release the numbers, so we don't know what you can make an educated guess and you can say it and be on the record with it and maybe you're right, but the reality is maybe you're wrong too. And maybe that is a factor in why, just using Fred Hoiberg and his team as an example here, maybe that's why you aren't able to get some players that it seemed like you were in good position for, or why you weren't able to retain somebody else that you wanted to retain, because like overnight, the going rate to get an all conference player back in uniform went up 50%, 60%. Like that's just how it happens in this business. So if you're Matt Rhule and like you have access to the numbers and you know them, you know what a left tackle actually costs. Like, yeah, I welcome any and all transparency in that situation to tell us, so we actually know what we're saying when we're the three of us are sitting here talking.
Mitch, as you brought up Fred Hoiberg here, so let's bring up basketball roster a little bit. It seems like I don't know if they're done, but they filled some of the big holes, obviously at center and point guard, and then got a depth piece with Betts as well. Maybe wasn't all of the top guys on their list, but these are guys whose names I heard pretty much from the jump when the portal opened. I guess just how do you feel about the way they've constructed the roster this year, and how much does the success of last year, considering what we thought about the portal additions going into the year, impact? Does that put a filter on the way you're processing this year?
Yeah, I mean, last year at this time was a different conversation because Nebraska was coming off of a season when it didn't make the NCAA tournament, and there just wasn't the same kind of excitement. It was a normal off season. And this is not a normal off season. So a year ago when Nebraska was collecting pieces, like Price Sanford being the most significant one, it was just like, okay, file that away and we'll check back in November to see what kind of a player he is. Like, yeah, saw him at Iowa, whatever. This year's totally different because they just made the Sweet 16 a few weeks ago. So there's way more interest and people are more invested. So as these pieces come in here, like day by day, hour by hour, you want to analyze it, and it's hard to do because the picture is not complete. Like Oogie just went in the portal this morning, so you think 24 hours ago that maybe Nebraska was all right at the center position, and like you're going to replace Rink Mast with Kapke from Boston College, and then it's like, oh, you just lost somebody else, so they're probably going to be back in the market for at least one more player. Like, do they want to get to the 15 player limit? I don't know. Fred hasn't said necessarily yes or no on that, and they're not there right now. So it's an incomplete puzzle right now, and it's hard to really know until for I think even for the coaches until they get out on the basketball court and get to work with them in June and July. And for us as observers, it's even more difficult. They went about it the way that like you would probably expect Fred Hoiberg and his program to do it. Like Nebraska was not at the forefront of spending millions and millions on the biggest players in the portal. And if they had done that, and if they had like tried to do that, I think I would have had some questions about whether that was the right step for this program. And don't get me wrong, you want to get the most talent that you possibly can, but he built Nebraska to a place where it was the team that we saw on the court in 2025, 2026 by doing things a certain way. And just because you have access to more resources doesn't necessarily mean that you should you should change the way that you roster build. And I think at the end of this, they're probably going to have some deficiencies and some holes in what their team looks like, but they will have constructed a roster in a similar way to how they built the roster over the last few years. Then you just have to work your magic and find players who fit well together. It's going to be more about fit than it is going to be about like, the sum of your parts. And that's the hand that Nebraska basketball has been dealt. It's probably not changing anytime in the near future.
Mitch, would you rather try to sustain in baseball or basketball?
It's a good question. I hadn't thought about that. I think probably basketball because there are fewer moving parts. Football, I was thinking about this earlier about I was talking to somebody about why it is that Nebraska is having all the success that it is in really every sport that it invests heavily in, except for football. And they're having some success in football, but I think everyone would agree that it's on a higher level in volleyball. I'm not going to list all of them, but you guys know how the baseball and softball teams are doing right now, how the wrestling team did, how the basketball team did. And the thing about football that separates it, part of what I came down to, this is oversimplifying it. The part about that football that is more difficult to master is that there are more moving pieces on the coaching staff, on the support staff, and certainly on the roster. It's just a bigger overall operation. And while baseball in some ways, like financially, is not a bigger overall operation than basketball, there are more moving pieces in baseball. There are more players on the field of play at the same time than there are in basketball. You just have more around you. You have a 30-some player roster, and in basketball, it's in the teens. So the smaller the sport, it does.
What about
increase
number of people available? It seems like there are more good baseball players than there are game-changing basketball players.
Yeah. Also, basketballs, they're different kinds of sports too. Where basketball, if you add one fantastic player, you have the potential to really change your team overnight. And it's rare to find the baseball player who can do that. If he's a Friday night pitcher, he pitches once a week. If he's your 3-hole hitter, he bats 11% of the time when you're at the on offense. So a basketball player has the ability to impact you. A great basketball player has the ability to impact your team more so than just about in any other sport. I mean, you can look at a quarterback in football, but again, he's only on the field half the time or less than half the time if you factor in special teams. So I don't know. It's apples and oranges kind of in as far as the two sports, but I think what the case I was trying to make at the beginning, I got sidetracked, was that it's more difficult to rebuild and to sustain in baseball because there's more moving parts than in basketball.
As you are looking at this baseball team, obviously coming off of a phenomenal weekend in which, I'll be honest, if Nebraska swept USC, that was not how I imagined it going. I didn't imagine we'd have 2 run rules and an 8.
No.
What did they scored like 36 runs in 3 games against that pitching staff? I thought there was a world in which they had a good weekend. I certainly didn't think it was going to look like that. How, I guess, impressed, surprised, you choose the adjective, were you, especially coming off of what was a tough series against Oregon that probably didn't go the way they wanted?
Yeah, kind of dumbfounded. I mean, I thought they were going to be playing 4-3 games against USC all weekend. And to think that it was 16-6 and 12-2, and even the Friday night game, 8-7.
Yeah.
That's Yeah, it's a lot of runs. And, it shows you that Nebraska kind of imposed its will. I mean, Nebraska ideally going into the series would love to have scheduled it out so that the games could have gone the way that they did, not having to come from behind and 3-run plus deficits in 2 of the 3 games. But this team doesn't seem to be fazed by that. Like that happened on Tuesday against Creighton. It happened against Oregon in the win that Nebraska had out there. So they're very, very resilient. It's not something that gets that gets in the heads of this team. But it just shows you like who was the aggressor in that series. It was Nebraska. Once Mason Edwards came off the field for USC on Friday night, like Nebraska was the aggressor in every way, shape, and form for the remainder of that series. And that's a really good sign for Will Bolt and his team, because if you want to win a super regional, you're going to need to be the aggressor, especially if you have to go on the road to do it. And maybe Nebraska will be in a situation. First, you have to get to a super regional, which is something they haven't done in 21 years. So you're not taking that for granted under any circumstances. But if you do, like, you want to be the aggressor. As simple as that. There's more to it in winning a series and winning 2 out of 3. But if you can be the team that sets the tone, and Nebraska did that for the majority of that SC series, then you've done the first thing, and you put yourself in a position to make the College World Series. I will say I think this is the kind of a team where Nebraska fans can dream and hope of them making the College World Series. There have been other teams that Nebraska sent into the postseason. Where realistically it's like, make some noise in a regional. Just go out there and represent yourself well. Like, anything can happen in the postseason, but is it realistic for them to get to Omaha? Probably not. And this is a team with as well-rounded as they are. They do everything right. Like somebody asked me the other day, what's the one thing you would want to fix? What's the biggest weakness with this group? It's kind of hard to find, especially now that they've fixed some of their bullpen issues. They are a team that if they are playing like this and they're hot in June, you could see them at the College World Series.
Mitch, let me so I gotta ask, just just knowing your affinity for your major league franchise, what would the measured, mild-mannered Mitch Sherman do with kind of this evolving situation? Whether it's Salvi, who wasn't a great at bat in crunch time last night, but whether it's Salvi, whether it's what happens managerially, you move the fences in, you kind of got a new hitting approach. It was supposed to be implemented kind of this year. What do you want to see happen?
So I'm the GM now?
Yeah.
You got to make some kind of a change. I mean, what happened last night, it was bad enough coming home off of the road trip in Detroit and New York. But what happened last night was just like that was an ailing baseball team to have 15 left on base and every opportunity to score 4 or 5 runs. And the Orioles didn't have any inkling of wanting to hit for 9 innings. And then they get 1 hit with 2 outs in the top of the 9th, and the game goes extra innings and you give up 6 runs in the 12th. Like, come on. They are screaming out, figuratively, that something needs to be done. And yeah, if I'm going to take the measured approach, like me as a fan, I want to fire Q, but like measured approach, I understand he's just signed a new contract, but whatever. Like, the guy's a major league owner. Like that, how much is he getting paid? I was Googling it yesterday. Like how much is Matt Cutrero getting paid? And it didn't seem to be readily available, but I'm pretty sure it's less than like what one player makes in a, over the length of his contract. It's probably less than like what one good player makes in a season. So like you can stomach that. Like if you have to do it, like make the move if you have to do it. Don't worry about what you're paying your manager. And I'm not saying they should do that right now, but they need to make some kind of a change. And you zeroed in on the hitting thing. Like, yeah, they structured the big decisions through this offseason around hitting a certain way. They moved in the fences. That's dramatic. Yep. And it is not producing the results that they want. Like how the power numbers, I think Bobby Witt still does not have a home run. He's hitting the ball all right. And Jack hit his first homer last night. Come on. Like they're 20 plus games into the season. Like what is wrong? Get rid of the hitting coach. That is where I would start.
So
change what you're doing. Fix it somehow. Like, do something.
Baseball is such a tough sport. It's just a brutal sport. I've said this forever. And I wasn't, and Connor, he laughed at me. He was like, don't. But watching Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt Jr. last night, I remember a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it's like people were comparing Gunnar Henderson to Bobby Witt Jr. And I was like, all right, it's just funny how, not funny like hee ha ha. Baseball is so unforgiving. It can change immediately. And it's like you're an afterthought.
I will say it was funny. And I kind of have my tail between my legs since my team lost as I say this, but I'll still say it. It was funny to see Gunnar Henderson get picked off twice. Like, how do you get picked off twice? Like, they had one hit through 9 innings, and he walked twice and got picked off both times, including in the 9th inning. That's funny.
Like,
that's not funny if you're Gunnar or the
bats. Like, what happened?
I don't know. Like, that cannot happen if you're in the major leagues. And still, they won the game. Like,
unless you're Matt,
you should lose the game just because of that.
You realize my guy Matt Kemp led the league in being picked off 1 year. I mean, that's pretty hard to do, except when you're
somebody's got to lead the league.
Yeah, that's true.
But he didn't average 2 a game, so
you get there in a hurry, though.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to get on base twice to get picked off twice. All right.
Are you kind of a Salvi purist?
Yeah, I'd put Salvi in charge of the team if that could be done tomorrow. Just make him the player manager. Why not? Like, what's going to happen? Are you going to lose a bunch of games? Well, you're going to go on an 8-game losing streak? Okay.
Oh, that might have
You can have the worst record in baseball if you make him the player manager? Oh, all right. Try it.
Just make him the player manager. Oh, he doesn't need any mental health days, that's for sure. He told us that.
Yeah, see, that was damage control there. Like, what happened? That was interesting to watch, the comment that Q made, and the next day the attempt to explain it. There's just a lot. There's just a lot going on there, and it's all very ugly at the moment.
None of it's good. None of it's good.
Nobody's gonna run away and hide in the Central, though. So there's always, I mean,
you'll have a shot.
It'll be okay.
You can't win the division in April, but you can lose it, and their Royals are doing a great job of that.
Jeez,
they're doing their best. Mitch, we appreciate the time as always. Thank you again for being
Thanks
patient
for your
with
patience,
us.
buddy.
Really appreciate you.
Thanks.
We will talk to you later. That is Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. And that's the show for today. It goes quick when you talk to one guest for about an hour. Appreciate Coach Rhule for joining us here today. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be back tomorrow with more Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's the declaration of deals at Edwards Jeep Council Bluffs in Village Point. Lease the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4, 0 down, starting at just $349 a month for returning lessees. Shift into spring with deals this good only at Edwards Jeep Council Bluffs in Village Point, or lease the 2026 Jeep Compass Limited, 0 down, starting at just $299 a month for returning lessees. Don't wait. Declaration of deals won't last. Get to Edwards Jeep Council Bluffs in Village Point.